Evening, ladies and gents. We're looking at August 9th, 2025. This is Oliver, and I'm in a bunker I call Studio 72 in the People's Republic of Portland, Oregon. I just wanted to kind of pitch out 200 days, the good, the bad, the ugly. And there's been a whole lot of all of that, to be honest. But with the President Trump's 200 days in office, it's been pretty remarkable on some fronts. There's been some things that kind of lackluster. As usual, it's open if anybody wants to make any comments or pitch out ideas to discuss. I think that pitching off things right off the bat is probably pretty easy to do. And again, it's always open to interpretations. It's kind of like what if you've got Trump derangement syndrome and you're in a weird headspace, everything's going to seem, like funky. So, but if you're open and you're an independent like I am, that's my perspective. My lens is that I'm not carrying water for Trump per se. I'm an independent. And there's reasons that we had to vote independent. And there's victories with that win. But there's also criticisms that are fair game that need to be presented. And I think that's all fair. That to me is, I apply common sense. And I hope you do too. I mean, that right off the bat, the good, just like with 2016, the good is Trump beat Hillary Clinton in 2016. Trump beat cackling Kamala Harris. That right off the bat is a huge victory. Regardless of your political alignment, Kamala was not really prepared to be in a leadership position. It would have been a lot like Biden, maybe different circumstances, maybe not so different circumstances. But she would have been controlled. She would have been a puppet. She wouldn't have been operating independently. These are my opinions, of course. So, and it'd be easy to say, "Oh, that's sexist." Oh, dude. No, I'm not being sexist. I'm judging someone off their character, without any DEI lens, without whatever gender they're identifying with, whatever color or race they're identifying with. Although she really didn't know exactly where she was at because she had identified with one or the other. So that's an easy victory in my book, that he was able to successfully beat her. And it would have been really embarrassing. I mean, we could say that it would have been really embarrassing if he would have lost. When you lose to Kamala, I mean, oh my God. Aaron Rediger, I like turtles. I like turtles too, man. Turtles are fucking magnificent creatures. They live to be hundreds of years old. They are ancient sea creatures. See this painting behind right here? Hey, Eddie Hernandez. This painting right here is an ocean wave cracking behind me here. And, the sea turtles, they're really amazing creatures. They come on in, drop all the eggs, and then go. And it's kind of like you're on your own. You're fending for yourself. And a lot of those little eggs hatch and get gobbled up. You have 0 legs. Now it's 1. Thank you, guys. Ryland Fox, good to see you. Good to see you. That's a cool name, Ryland Fox. So what I was saying is we're talking about Donnie. 200 days, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and maybe the real ugly. No, I don't know. I think the good, the bad, the ugly is, it covers it. But the main thing, so as I was saying, he beat Kamala. I don't think we'd have a country. Now, these are just my perspective and lens. I don't think we'd have a United States of America without a border and without some security at the border. And it went way beyond just security at the border. Biden had Catholic Charities flying hundreds of thousands of children into the States. Biden and cackling Kamala had millions of people flown into the States. It was beyond just from all over the world. It was beyond just Latinos or Mexicans. It was just beyond a border. So when we have those kind of things that are happening, securing that border you've got to give him credit for that. You have to acknowledge that we have a country because he was able to enforce the basic of basics of covering the border and having some border patrol down there, stopping the flow, the exodus coming in, which is the fentanyl, which is the unaccompanied children, all of those horrific things that come about. All of those things that come about with an open border. He stopped. That's good. How can you say that's not good? How do you argue that that wasn't a good thing for us? Lookinism or biological mechanism from No Name. Guess what I love? Hey, Aqua Blue. Ryan Fox, what do you love? So now, what are some other things that we could give him some positive credit for? Okay. Tariffs. Is this good? Is this bad? Or is this ugly? You know, I'm hearing all kinds of different discussion on the tariffs. Chris Martinez, this veteran think you're lost. Thank you, veteran, for doing your portion. I don't take any offense to any of that. You like snakes? Oh man, I'm not a snake guy. Ryan Fox likes snakes. I'm not a snake guy. I hate abusers. Yes, snakes are a little abusive in general, don't you think? I don't know. They could be. So the tariffs thing, you know, it's hard. When it first came out, I think people are still struggling with it. I think that he's being attacked on it because people don't totally understand. The way that I perceive the tariffs is to stop outsourcing, get those jobs, get the manufacturing back in the United States. And that in itself is a good cause. Now, the tariffs kind of seem like they've taken on almost like a negotiation, like some sort of like a peace or war and peace, a time of, it's like these tariffs have really taken on a different feel of their own. And I'm not totally sure if that was intended. It may have been, and I just didn't know. I don't really know a lot about tariffs. What he's doing with tariffs is historical. I see that there's good intentions. There's concerns that it's going to tank the economy. They've been broad stroke brushing, calling people panicans. I think that's really cheesy. I think it's really stupid. I don't think it's good advice. Whoever's to pitch that out and to insult the base, I just think it's kind of silly. I think maybe they were trying to pitch the panicking thing against critics that weren't with the base, but there's a lot of the base or people that voted for him that don't understand the tariffs and they're freaking out about losing their small businesses. I have a No Name says, I don't know, something about my knowledge is very low. Carman, steel worker, Canadian. Okay, are you from Canada? Carman, you've got an interesting perspective there. If you're from Canada or if you're just doing the Canadian flags. John Bollocks, good to see you. Welcome. What's going on? He says, what's going on in here? We're just discussing, we're doing a little bit of a 200-day wrap-up of Trump. Donnie, I call him Donnie, President Trump. So we got 200 days. We're at this marking point. There's been a whole bunch of shit that's gone down. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it's real ugly. It's just depending on your perspective. Gary Kasparov, JMS PS7. Gary Jasparos, the Putinization of America. You know, I've got feelings about, I don't think there's any Putinization of America. I also think that Putin's call for denazification of Ukraine, he wants to get rid of the Nazis. Don't you want to get rid of the Nazis? I don't want any Nazis anywhere in the world. Are you a Nazi fan? Sometimes I get these guys from Ukraine that love the Nazis and you know, so be it. It's your thing. I am with Putin on denazification of Ukraine because I'm with Putin in broader sense of the world. I don't want any Nazis anywhere on the planet. If you're into Nazis, that's your thing. You're going to have to deal with that. Ontario, Canada. Good to see you in the house. Love the Canadians. We get a lot of world players dropping in. I love that. I never expected that. I never expected so many people from around the world. We're a little bit earlier. Usually at late night, I notice, because it's 13-hour difference, right? I'm on West Coast. I'm in Oregon. Hamilton the Hammer, Carman, DJ Dasher. You don't like Nazis? What about Trump? Trump's not a Nazi. You see, that's you have to pay very close attention to what a real bona fide Bandera-loving neo-Nazi is in Ukraine. It's the Azov Battalion. These aren't just, gonna punch a Nazi because he doesn't like my purple hair and I go with they and them pronouns. No. You're confused. That's a lot of confusion if you think like that. Trump's not a Nazi. The Nazis are in Ukraine. They're called the Azov Battalion. And they do blood ceremonies and blood rituals where they cut the blood. And they do these weird Bandera from the World War II. They LARP Bandera was a Nazi leader. And they do these tributes and parades in Ukraine. People are so brainwashed, they have no idea. They don't even know what a real fucking Nazi is. They think Trump is a Nazi. So you got all kinds of Nazis in Ukraine. That's long history, long given. Putin's asking for denazification in Ukraine. That's reasonable. That's reasonable. I don't want Nazis in USA. Neither does Trump. Trump is doing everything in his power to back Israel. That is very much so against Nazis. I think he's going too far with backing Israel. I don't think Israel first is America first. I think that's a bad. But there's a lot of the base that thinks that's a part of the good, but the bad and the ugly. If you think Trump's a Nazi, you're confused. You've been brainwashed, and no offense because you have a right to your opinions, but you don't understand what a real Nazi is. Look up, get your little computer up, open up a little browser and look up Azov Battalion, AZOV Battalion in Ukraine. And you will see a whole bunch of articles. These guys are bona fide fucking Nazis. I don't care. People go, oh, bro, Zelensky's Judaist. How can you say Ukraine's full of Nazis? He's exploiting the blood ritual Nazis of Ukraine. German in the house. Jacques Taman, good to see you. That's all I heard. Josh Hessens. They're also here and have parades here, buddy. Where are the Nazis having parades? You talking about the FBI guys? You talking about the FBI guys that all dress in khakis? No, bro. That's not real Nazis. The FBI dressed up in khakis. No, bro. That ain't real Nazis, but okay. Nazis, very high level. Believe in something dark age, like people have that. Witch hunt versus... And Shock Teeman says the new ones suck. Yeah, well, the old ones suck too, boss. So is MAGA. No. MAGA is... Dude, you are lost. Not only that, you're on the wrong channel. I don't put up with that kind of crap. You're gonna go into ignore low. If you think MAGA is Nazis, you're a fucking fool. Oh, I guess my family's wrong. Just vets, they don't know anything. I got a long line of veterans. We've been fighting Nazis. My family fought Nazis in World War II. Did yours? Because if your family died fighting Nazis in World War II, you wouldn't be backing Nazis in Ukraine right now. And you wouldn't be here on this channel lecturing me when my family was flying aircrafts killing Nazis. We don't stand with Nazis in my family. We don't stand with Nazis in America. We fight Nazis. We bomb Nazis. We machine gun Nazis. That's what Ukraine is being controlled with right now, is Azov Battalion Bandera-loving Nazis. You're very confused. Very confused. My great-granddad was a Nazi. Well, sorry about your luck. That's probably why you like Ukraine. It's sad how many people hate each other over religion and political views. That's true. That's true. But some political views, like Nazis, are unacceptable. And that's the line that was crossed with Putin. Okay? I'm not a Putin apologist. I just happen to side with Putin when he says Ukraine needs to be denazified. Denazification. That's a simple request. And what did they do? They started bombing Russia. Started killing Russia because they wanted to denazify. They said, oh no, we got to have a pure race in Ukraine. We got to have a pure ethno-state in Ukraine, much like Israel, which I don't support that either. When you have an ethno-state as your platform and your base of existence, you're on the wrong side of history. You don't like Russia. Okay, well, that's fine. I mean, I don't really have a problem with Putin. Now, there could be a bigger political issue with the oligarchs in Russia that I may not support, but I don't have an issue with Putin. And that is that goes into chalk up one of the good, the bad, and the ugly of 200 days. If Trump can pull off this Alaska peace accord with Putin, you remember where Alaska came from, don't you? Anybody study history? Where'd Alaska come from? Who'd we buy Alaska from? Anyone? Bueller? Russia. Thank you. Jason Ratneger, 1867 Russia. Strudel Dees, Russia. What a beautiful thing. Entertain me for a second, my friends. Entertain me for a second. What a beautiful thing. To Alaska, where the Russian fighter jets have been playing Top Gun and swan diving the U.S. jets all over, submarines all over the Alaskan waters, Russian and Chinese submarines all over. We got an opportunity to sit Putin down with Donnie with a historical peace accord in Alaska that was once Russian ice, USSR. Absolutely. H-Busta for clarification, absolutely. And it is really easy to combine the Russia with the USSR. And you're absolutely right. That bringing the USSR into the dynamics is an interesting complication, because we tend to say, or at least I do, we're anti-communist. Am I wrong? We're against the communists. We're against this as it represents. Well, who fought the Nazis? USSR, the communists. Billy X says they want it back. I've been joking about that for a while, boss. I've been joking about that for a while. I go, Putin's probably really upset on that bad deal. $7 million. We stole Alaska for $7 million because they got their ass kicked. They were bankrupt. Russia lost 27 million people in World War II. Thank you. We got a historian. Thank you, Jason Ratneger. Thank you. Absolutely. Tens of millions. You're absolutely 27 million people fighting those fucking Nazis. And what are the Democrats doing? What are the rhino neocon warhawks doing? They're shoveling cash, cocaine, and weapons to the same fucking Ukraine Nazis, Azov battalion that we fought and our grandfathers and our great-grandfathers died face down in the muck, killing them fucking Nazis. And they're now sending our cash, our tax dollar money, into the Ukraine Nazis. Fuck them. Fuck them. Those people are on the wrong side of history. My family didn't die for nothing fighting the Nazis. They did suffer the most. Oil, lots of oil. You know what? I think we ought to tap Alaska. I think we ought to take a better exploitation. I hate to say that because, my whole life, I am for domestic exploitation of our fossil fuels. My whole life, the framing was more of an environmental type of protectionist. And I've changed that. Now, as I'm getting older, I've changed my perspectives. What we need to do for our own sovereignty is to tap into our own domestic fuels. Alaska has it all. The Arctic has it all. It has all the oil we would ever need, and then some. We could get gas down below $2 a gallon, and we could sell the surplus and take care of a whole lot of stuff. Russia did not attack Ukraine. Ruth Shires, she's standing with the Nazis. Hi, Ruth, you little Nazi lover. Because they thought we were Nazis and no one didn't send cash. Fact check yourself. You have serious issues. Well, goodbye, Ruth. Go get yourself a drink somewhere and stand with the Nazis, ding dong. Goodbye, Ruth. Goodbye. Have fun standing with the Nazis, Ruth. We're not confused, ding dong. Trump needs to negotiate the liberation of the Epstein files. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, true say, is that good? Is that bad? Or is that ugly? How they've handled those Epstein files is real ugly. Real ugly. And it's created this illusion, the optics, that Donnie is now trying to hide something. Like, oh, God, whoa, well, we don't want the pictures of Melania coming out. Bro, the whole world has seen Melania's pictures. They're all over the internet. Just get your little fingers on a Google and say, Google Melania's nudes. They're all over, dude. There's nothing to hide there. He's not worried about hiding Melania's nudes. She's been doing that for a long time. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. I'm not going to think any less of Melania because of her beautiful nudes. I think they're very classy. I don't think it's junk porn. I don't fall into criticizing her. I think James Carville came out and was trying to imply something that she was involved in some sort of escort thing or something with Epstein, and she had nude pictures, and it's like, I think Carville got a hostile letter from Melania's attorneys this week because he started humming and hawing and apologizing. In fact, I read the letter. It's online. Melania's legal team said, shut your pie hole, bro. Shut your pie hole. I had nothing to do with Epstein harming children. Shut your pie hole and retract. Here comes James Carville. James Carville, who was with the Bill Clinton presidential campaign. Bill Clinton flew dozens and dozens and dozens of times down to Epstein Island. Trump never went to Epstein Island. Trump maybe definitely partied in New York. Trump definitely partied in Florida with that whole crew. He knows Ghislaine, little Jizzy. He knew her. He admits to knowing her. That doesn't mean that you're doing things with young people. That doesn't mean you're harming young children. You're partying, you're doing coke parties in the 80s and 90s. Who the fuck wasn't? You young kids don't know what the 80s and 90s was. You couldn't walk into a bar and not have people snorting coke in the bathrooms. They're tapping the Anwar oil in Alaska. Right on, Billy 619. I support that. Now, I think that's wonderful because we need that domestic fuel. We don't need to buy Russians oil. We don't need to buy House of Saud. Aren't you guys tired of being at the mercy of OPEC, oil-producing, exporting countries? Aren't you tired of being at the mercy of Saudi Arabia, who beheads women? I'm kind of tired of the Saudi Arabian beheaders. I don't know about you. Maybe you're with Ruth. You're with Nazis, and Ruth probably likes the beheaders in Saudi Arabia, too. And she says, we're confused. Send postcards to Ruth in Kiev. Aktun, Ruthie. Aktun. Why worry about a dead pimp? Joe Ciclosi. That's a very interesting point. I've heard that one, and it's a valid point. I think you bring up a good point, sir. I think you bring up a good point. Why do I care about it? Why do I care about what's going on? This is way beyond slimy, greasy, maggot, pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, which, by the way, and for the record, I don't think he's dead. I think he's still living. But that's a side note, and I always say that, and then I kind of try to walk it back and go, I don't know, that's just a wild conspiracy theory. I don't think he's dead. That's not the point. Jeffrey Epstein isn't the point. What's the point, my friend Joe? The point is these intelligence agencies that are framing and controlling our republic and our country. Am I wrong? Can I get an amen? Somebody in the back row say, thank you, Jesus. We have intelligent operations that to this day are still running honey traps. Doesn't have to be down there on little Jeffrey's Island. They're all over. They're all over. They never stopped. Mossad never stopped. The FBI never stopped. Pay attention, people. Look at D.C. D.C. is teeming with spies and escorts, beautiful women, tons of drugs, back rooms. We've got people having sex in Senate hearing rooms, and it's on video. Last year, these crazies, I think they were staffers having gay sex in a Senate hearing room, and it was on camera. Video. That's why we care about it, my friend Joe. We don't care about the dead pimp, although we do care about the people, the children, and the young people, don't we? Yes, of course we do. There's nobody here, not even Ruth, who's standing with the Nazis and probably likes the beheaders in Saudi Arabia. Not even little Ruthie, little Aktun Ruthie. Not even Ruthie's going to come in here and boldly say, we're confused because we want to protect the children. Not even effed up Ruthie standing with Nazis is going to say that. Where was Epstein Island? There's a series of islands. It wasn't just one. You know who else has islands down there? Puff Daddy. P. Diddy. Ah! Not just Epstein. Look at the baby oil king. Look at Puff Daddy. Look at P. Diddy. Got islands down there, and he's got mansions all over. Who was protecting him? Any ideas? Why do we have this weird coincidence and synchronicities with Hollywood millionaires doing weird kinky drugs and sex fests at P. Diddy and at Epstein and in New York and where else? All fucking over the world, my friends. That's why we care. That's why we keep their feet to the fire. Is we expose that this type of honey trap, this type of blackmail, this type of shit that's controlling our Congress, controlling the House of Representatives, controlling the Senate, controlling our whole goddamn judges, controlling our judicial system, everybody's blackmailed. And if you're not blackmailed now, they blackmail them shortly after they get into power. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Hell no, I'm not wrong. Hell yes, I'm speaking the truth. Patora Dugno. Patar Dugno. Yes, I think we should try to be self-sufficient for all our energy needs. Bingo. Absolutely. Absolutely. Isn't that really the most critical thing? What is our greatest economic vulnerability? We saw it with COVID. We saw it when Biden and the Democrats came in and mandated Operation Warp Drive. They came in and mandated Donnie and Trump with the Republicans. They said it's an option. It's an option without knowing what's going on. Lied to by Dr. Birx, lied to by Dr. Fauci, lied to by all these big Pfizer, big pharma, son of a bitches. Everyone lied to Donnie and said, this is your legacy. You're going to save hundreds of millions of people, Donnie. And he says, let's make it optional. Let's make the, what was the other antibiotics? There was another experiment. There was a couple of different things that came out of that. There was some other antibiotics that were used. I'm drawing a blank on the name of that. But they were optional. Optional. Biden came in and mandated it. When they mandated it, the trucker said, fuck you. The port worker said, fuck you. And the supply chains broke down and gas shot up to what? $8, $9, $10 a gallon in California. It's $5, $6, $7, $8 across the country. We see where we're vulnerable by looking at the past. If we don't learn from the past, we're going to repeat these same fucking mistakes over and over and over again. Am I wrong? Somebody say, thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. P. Diddy Island. Gursamran Sandhu. Greetings. Hello. Jason, of course, Ruthie must have a moral core. Standing with Nazis takes a lot of integrity, doesn't it, Jason? Florida, no, you're correct. Thank you, Jason. Jason, your name is too wrong, bro. J Money in the house. Robert London, ivermectin. Ivermectin was there the whole time, Robert. Yes, sir. Robert London, ivermectin was always there. Ivermectin's been used in Africa. Tell me this, riddle me this, Batman. Out of all the countries, which one refused the jabs? African continent, African countries. Which one had already had ivermectin in use? African countries. Who had the lowest cases of COVID in the world? African countries. You see a pattern? Is it just me? You see a little pattern there with ivermectin. They were using it for yellow fever. They were using it for other things. It can be now they're talking about it being used to fight cancer. Ivermectin. Big Pharma didn't want to push ivermectin. In fact, they ridiculed everyone. What'd they say, everybody? They called it horse paste. They said, oh, these stupid Republicans. Oh, you stupid anti-vaxxers. You're eating the horse paste. Oh, you gobble up the horse paste, Keith. You're going to die. You're going to die getting your shots. All these people that got these boosters on boosters and on boosters. Have you checked in on them lately? Are they still standing? Is anybody alive that had boosters on boosters on boosters? Have you heard the health reports? Have you heard the disabilities? The disabilities are through the roof. After booster, after booster, after booster. Not only did it not prevent you from coming down with COVID, it actually made your immune system take a power nap. I have to say this. They'll pull the video. I am not a doctor. I am not giving you, where's my finger? I am not giving you medical advice. I'm impersonating a preacher, but I am clearly not a medical doctor. I would never give you medical advice. I say this every video that this comes up. It says viewer limit, 260. We can only have 260 visitors. Push that like button, folks. Let's see if we can jam some more people in here. Now it dropped to 150. You are Sparks Fly. We got another Ukraine Nazi in here. Come on, Sparky. Come on, Sparky. You're rewriting history to fit your opinion. Okay, let's just look at the data. Let's just look at the data, Sparks Fly. Let's look at the data. What happened to the disabilities? Up. What happened from 2020, 2021, because there wasn't a big disability spike with just the original bioweapon here. Okay. Tracy Britton says, speak it, brother. God bless you, Tracy. God bless you. You know what I'm talking about. You're not standing with Nazis. You're not calling people eating horse paste because they're eating ivermectin, the Nobel Peace Prize ivermectin. This ain't from me here, Trixie. Well, not Trixie. Why do I want to call her Trixie? Sparksy. This ain't my opinion, Sparksy. We're reading the medical data. Go do some basic research here, Sparks Fly. Do some basic Google searches here, honey bunny. Look up ivermectin. Do you have any idea that it's gotten the Nobel Peace Prize? Not a clue. You don't have a clue. The ivermectin has been nominated and won as a Nobel Peace Prize because it's an award-winning medication. That's not my history here, Sparks Fly. That's not my data here, Sparks Fly. That's not my Nobel Peace Prize here, Sparks Fly. Do some basic research before you come in here flapping your jaws and saying I'm rewriting history. You understand that? You understand that? Because you can find the door. Don't come in here and insult me. I ain't rewriting history. I'm speaking the truth. I'm speaking facts. I'm speaking data. If you can't handle that, you're in the wrong channel. Look at the data. These guys can't read. All right. Read mine already. Jay Money in the house. David Fowler. Hunter, correct, brother. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you all. Even the ones that are standing with the Nazis. We should pray for her. We should pray for Ruthie. We should pray for this little ding-dong that came in here and said, I'm rewriting history. What the fuck do I need to rewrite history for her? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I'm going to rewrite history for what? I'm working on a novel? Yeah, that's it. I'm working on a novel. I'm going to rewrite ivermectin. I'm going to write into the Wikipedia page. It's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and that'll go right into my book. Oh, honey, you're fucking confused. Hopefully you're drinking and you can just pretend you're drunk and you're smart, but you're drunk. Health information, misinformation. So that's why I say I'm not a doctor. And that's why I say I'm not giving you any medical advice. I want you to do your own research. I need you to get on there and do your own Googling. Which, fuck Google, DuckDuckGo, whatever it is. Do we have anything else other than Google? My God, they've got us by the balls. They've got all of us by the balls. You can see every time we talk about this stuff in the chat, you can see the people that they've been grabbed by the balls too many times. They don't think. They don't have any idea. They say you're going to rewrite history. They can't read the facts. Disabilities went up off the charts, like an Elon SpaceX rocket. Disabilities from these boosters and these mRNA experimental jabs, up. Riddle me this here, Starship Ruthie. Riddle me this. Why did they pull the J&J? The Johnson & Johnson. Why did they pull it? If it was so wonderful and it was preventing all of this viral spread and it was keeping everybody healthy, forget about the strokes and forget about the heart attacks and forget about the Alzheimer's coming on at 20 and 30 years old, forget about all that. They pulled it because it was stroking people out. Did you miss all the young 20-year-old healthy athletes falling straight on their faces? The basketball courts, 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds hitting the soccer fields right on their face. We're not rewriting history here, princess, little cupcake. We're not rewriting history. We're watching the fucking videos. We're watching the young kids drop on the soccer fields. We're watching the young football players have cardiac arrests on the NFL football games. Where you been, princess? Where you been, Peaches? Were you hiding? Were you standing in line for the boosters? Where were you instead of reading the data? It was all Facebook. Who put 50p in the lunatic? Did you see the generational study on leaded gas? You're in it. Sativa burns. I like sativa. I like sativa, boss. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Like he's dancing. Call down Psycho MAGA. You're watching young kids sativa burns. You couldn't miss it. You couldn't miss it. Are you telling me you didn't see the young athletes dropping on the field? Healthy, athletic, young people. Why were they dropping in the fields? Why did they drop on the basketball courts? Why did they drop on the college fields? Why are they dropping in the soccer fields? Booster after booster after booster. COVID gave new race called Wokes. Colonel Sanders, what happened? James, Colonel Sanders, what happened? Rick, go get test, brother. Not by statistically meaningful numbers, no. I'll tell you what my 99-year-old grandma didn't take. Nancy Owens. I sure hope she's still above ground. God bless your grandma. 99, 100-year-old? God bless her. She that's World War I. She probably had family die in World War I. Lizzie Boo, facts. Billy X 619, yes. Deanna Hampton, oh, Jesus. You can always tell who's standing with the Ukraine Nazis. You can always tell who loves the Pfizer boosters. J Money, I ain't missing you, J Money. I've been talking your name. J Money, come on. He keeps on missing my impactful chats because he rants. Should I just leave or should I keep on throwing? Stay, man. I'm reading your name. What'd I miss? If it was going too fast, I might have missed you. But I've said your name. You've been insightful. You haven't been telling me I'm rewriting history yet, like little Ruthie spank cakes. You can tell who supports President Epstein too. Sativa burns. I don't think you're smoking sativa, boss. Hey, you're starting to sound like you're smoking something different. It's not healthy. Chris Martinez in the house. Yeah, man, I hate chemtrails and I love raw milk. God bless you, brother. God bless you. You know who's the healthiest people around? The Amish. What'd the Amish do? What didn't the Amish do during all this COVID hysteria when we were told to trust the science like little Ruthie space cakes? Trust the science. How many times did we hear that? It was a mass hypnosis psychosis. Trust the science. Pfizer's the science. Moderna. Yeah, the CDC is the science. It was hypnosis. It was nothing short of mass hysterical hypnosis. Sativa meaning cultivated from seed, i.e. barley, garlic, and peas. But you knew that, right? Absolutely. Sativa is far superior. Now, with cannabis, sativa is far superior than indica. But I like the energy. And as a painter, as an artist, I don't want to go to sleep. I don't want to be knocked out. I like the sativa. But I hear what you're saying. Jake Bell is a friend of the gay frogs or saying gay frog. gay frogs. That's atrazine that turned the frogs gay. Alex Jones was right. InfoWars was right. He told us 25 years ago. Everybody mocked him. Everyone said, oh, gay frogs. Oh, he must be homophobic. Atrazine. Atrazine. What's atrazine used? It's in big agricultural, in the fields, leaking into the well water, leaking into our rivers, leaking into the oceans, leaking into the taps. Atrazine, switching people's hormones, making the, what does it do? It switched the female. Did it make the females think they were males, or it made the males think they were females, and they all start humping each other, and then they break down. There's nobody there to make the eggs fertile. Jake, snap. You wouldn't know. IRS, all hybrid now. Actually, we do know, and we test everything. I'm from Oregon here. We started all of that. We're the pioneers in the cannabis industry. One of the things that we do is we mandate every product that is retailed and sold on the shelf, all of them, every one of them. It has to be tracked to what percentage, what it breaks down. We even break down the terpenes with the flavors and all this. We know exactly what it is. We know exactly what's going on. But that's Oregon. Now, California, I don't think they test it, and they should. In fact, all of the states, if you're going to talk about decriminalizing cannabis, which I do, which I advocate, it took us 10 years in Oregon to do it, you have to have a testing done. You need to have some testing done. What's the potency? What is it? Is it sativa? What is this? What's the terpenes? What flavor? Has this one got a flavor of pine? This one got a flavor of lemon? Do they all come back to the blueberry? A lot of these flavors come back to the blueberry. James, you're hilarious, especially when you're stoned. J Money, guys. Speaking of frogs gay, made them gay. Keep supporting ignorance and President Chomo. Have a good night. All right, Sativa. Good luck with your life, buddy. Where at in Oregon? I'm from Portland right here, but the whole state is decriminalized. We did medical, and then we did recreational, which it took a while because we had a lot of ignorant people. We had a lot of ignorant people that were fighting those majors right here in Oregon. You wouldn't think it would happen in Oregon. We fought it here in Oregon. We had multiple ballots. If it's going to be like that in Oregon, you're going to have the same mofos down in Texas fighting you. You're going to have the same mofos in Kentucky. And this is the other argument, is that a lot of people don't know, is that the way America, it was mandated to grow hemp, the cousin. So you got cannabis and you've got hemp. Hemp for the ropes. Hemp, you can actually create bricks out of hemp. Hempcrete. It is the greatest environmental solution you can make oil out of it. You can make fuel out of hemp. And it was mandated to grow, and surely they phase that out. Rubber industry comes in, gasoline industry comes in. All of these things have now brainwashed our young people and brainwashed our adults into no longer thinking about hemp, no longer thinking about the magical, easy to produce, easy to grow hemp and cannabis. Look at big pharma. Look at alcohol industry. They don't want you smoking sativa and indica. They want you drinking vodka. They want you drinking rum. They want you to drink wine. Who's the number one contributor to Congress? Used to be wine industry, alcohol industry. Why? Why do you think that is? Trev Poor says lemon pine's the best. Yes, sir. I am a sucker. I'm actually drinking pineapple right here. I am a sucker for pineapple. Pineapple Kush. Pineapple is, oh, my God. But it's all really wonderful. All the flavors are really wonderful. I'll be honest, KFC's gone downhill. I don't even think that's chicken. Man, I wish we had legal weed here in North Carolina. North Carolina is a hard one to get past. It can happen. It can happen, but it's such a wonderful experience. I can't even tell you. We take it for granted now. It's been a few years, but to be able to walk in, my thing, I love the edibles. I love the edibles. They'll make gummies, they'll make this and that. There's candies, there's all kinds. They have to special little containers and all this and that. But what a wonderful experience. You don't have, because I live in an apartment. You can't smoke in apartments. Nobody can. You're not supposed to be. I mean, obviously you're going to have some people doing it, but, I don't, and I never have, and I won't. But the edibles, there's nothing stopping you from having the edibles. If you've got migraines, which I've had in the past, they're gone now. That's the cannabis. You can do the, if you got insomnia, you can do the indica. The pain is indica sativa. I like a mix. They can do a hybrid. I wish you had it in North Carolina too. This is something where we're talking about Donnie here, the good, the bad, and the ugly at 200 days. This is something that Trump is walking a fine line because he has advisors saying, yes, let's do it legalized. People don't realize that here in Oregon, all of the retail, all of the growers, we all have to use cash because there's no federal banking. The banks aren't allowed to recognize your cannabis business. It has to be cash. Naturally, with cash, it's harder to tax. It's harder for people to be honest. Maybe that helps some people in the retail, but if you want to be honest, you want to be legitimate, you want to do the honest thing, you have to allow banking. You have to allow people that whether it's a small retail cannabis shop or whether it's a grower or whatever, we've got to change that. That only happens in Congress. That only happens by Trump signing something from Congress. And that needs to happen. And they keep kind of flip-flopping. Why? Because you have these rhinos like Governor Ron DeSantis, who's attacking even medical cannabis in Florida. So you have these people that are stuck in reefer madnessville. They're stuck in reefer madness film, replaying that they think, you're going to be coming out and jumping off buildings and killing people. I was watching some Fox News just a couple of days ago, and they all started coming in talking about weaponized cannabis, that there was weaponized weed, and they're blaming the New York City crime on cannabis. Not fentanyl, not cocaine, not vodka, which makes people insane and want to fist fight and commit crimes. Not cannabis, vodka and whiskey and tequila. I used to drink. I know. I've been in plenty of bar brawls. I don't drink anymore. And there's no more bar brawls. But they want to blame cannabis in New York. So you have these talking heads on Fox News pop-shotting. And they were like, oh, well, the guy that walked into the Blackstone building, he was a heavy cannabis, this weaponized cannabis smoker. And they always say like weed, they use some derogatory term. They don't even want to call it cannabis. They're totally clueless that it's not creating psychosis. It's not making people walk into buildings with guns. Those are pre-existing conditions. People don't smoke a bong ripper and then go, oh, wouldn't it be cool to go into a building and shoot up some people in the insurance industry? No, it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. You got to be standing with Ruthie, standing with Nazis, and waiting for your Pfizer booster to believe that. That's bullshit. Point blank bullshit. Reefer Madness is a 1930s film that says if you smoke some of this, you're going to jump off buildings and commit crimes. Bullshit. Potato says I live on the coast. James says Northern England. Happy. Good to see you, James. England in the house. I love the international crew. I'm just amazed. It's like Trump's former vice president abandoned him. Elon abandoned him. And now Vance is abandoning him. I don't know if I would use abandoning. Vance looks like he's still sucking up pretty good. I don't think Elon was abandoned. I think Elon was driven out. And I got real issues with that because I'm standing with big balls. By the way, speaking of big balls, did you see that he tried to defend his girlfriend? Was that Washington, D.C.? Big balls. The young guy, I think is he a Zoomer? He's probably a Zoomer. I don't think he's even a millennial. Big balls. Stood in, there was a bunch of thugs trying to beat up his girlfriend or carjack. I think it was carjack his girlfriend. He fought several of them off. You can Google it and look at him. He's covered in blood. It broke his nose, blood squirting out. I stand with big balls. I stand with big balls fighting a legion of gangbangers trying to carjack his girlfriend in D.C. And that's what Trump came out and said, yeah, I'm going to bring in the federal police in D.C. And, I'm not sure if that's good, bad, or ugly. It might be a little bit of ugly. Patrice Mason, sorry about the name if I mispronounced it. Patrice Masson, CBD, love CBD. So those that don't want to get a high, they don't like the highs, CBD, you don't have any high, but it will help with pain. I use a salve on my knuckles. I got old man arthritis coming in. I got all kinds of old man shit. This CBD, cannabis, it's a salvation. I don't need big pharma. I don't need to have all these chemicals. I don't need to have all of this stuff that they want to push on us. Avoid it for as long as you can. Use the naturopathic way. Use the CBD. And CBD gummies, does it work for you? I'm assuming that you like it. I think you're doing like a smiley face like the CBD is helping you. James is relieving himself. Different Trump has so much dirt on him. APAC, Crispy, APAC. Good? The bad? That's real ugly. APAC is real ugly. No foreign country should be controlling our Congress. Am I wrong? Can I get a witness? KFC's gone downhill. Man, I'm a chef. I cook all my own food, and I cook gourmet. I would never, ever eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't even know if it's chicken. I don't even know what they're doing. The last time I ate there, and it was like, I think it was I felt like I had been nuked. I felt like my stomach, it was like, because everything is dehydrated at these places. Taco Bell's the same thing. Taco Bell, the beans, all of that stuff, it's dehydrated. And then they rehydrate it with water. And the argument is like, oh, it's going to keep things healthier. And it's like, your body doesn't know what to do with rehydrated food. Don't eat that shit. THCA is still shippable. Raymond CS. KFC was better in 1992. Maybe. I don't know. I always felt sick eating that stuff. I've never liked it. But it probably was better. Majorini's wrath. Just remember, Monsanto also made the Jabberwocky poke. Bing! DARPA program. Remind me again why DARPA and the Department of Defense is overseeing the experimental mRNA jab schedules. Remind me again why that's happening. I used to have a shop. What I do is I paint, excuse me, I paint for shops. So I paint cannabis and I'll paint flowers, some of them abstract. I've got a bunch of stuff. You can look on my content. I like to do my paintings and then I'll put some music to them. But you can see a couple of my new ones there with some reggae music and stuff. And I sell quite a bit. I've been a professional artist for 30 years. So, people want original art. People appreciate, they respect original art. So I keep the price down. And that's how I make sales for 30 years. I've had galleries. I was Blue Catfish Studios. I've been this Blue Zen Project, Aqua Blue Lounge. That's my handle now, Aqua Blue Lounge. Just more of a handle than I don't have a shop right now. The rents are too expensive. I'm being outpriced out of my own hometown. I'm being outpriced out of living out of my own hometown. 53 years old. And I used to be able to rent 4-bedroom houses for $650. Now studio apartments are $1,500. The 1-bedrooms are $1,800 to $2,000 here in Portland. That's the whole West Coast. And then people don't understand where all the homeless are coming from. You get these Oregon Republicans are like, yeah, you guys, where do all these homeless guys come from? It must be the drugs. And it's like, you guys have no clue. You're out in rural Oregon. You're riding horses. You've got a bunch of acres, and you have no clue of what rent is. You have no clue of how few of affordable housing is available in Portland or Seattle or San Francisco. San Francisco is $3,000 for a studio. That's one room, 300 square feet if you're lucky. You got a bed and maybe a desk. That's it, $3,000 in San Francisco. And then they don't understand why the young people are upset. They don't understand why the young people quit voting. They don't understand why the young people are in the streets rioting. It's because they don't have their slice of the American dream. They don't have the vision and a goal of getting their slice of the American pie. They're stuck on KFC because they like flip-flops. Secular humanism. I like that. But he acts like it. Chicken lives matter. Hell yeah, James. Alex Jones was right. J Money in the house. Alex Jones was always right. Alex Jones and InfoWars, always right. Here's my InfoWars plug. Get over there to the InfoWars store. I think it's InfoWarsStore.com, but just Google it, InfoWars. They have got some amazing supplements that'll change your life. You don't need boosters. You don't need mRNA. You don't need Pfizer. You don't need Moderna. You don't need experimental shit that's never even been tried on monkeys. Why, if they haven't tried it on rats and monkeys, would you sign up to get your boosters, my friends? Don't be Ruthie. Don't be a Ruthie standing with Nazis and standing in line for those boosters of experimental mRNA. No. Don't be a little Ruthie spacey Nazi cake. Go over there to Infowars.com. Infowars.com store. And they've got supplements there that'll keep you out of the hospital. They got supplements there that'll turn you into a mega stud. And you'll have multiple girlfriends because you're just too studly. That's a sales pitch. Alex Jones was never wrong. Well, Alex Jones may have been wrong a little bit, like 2% on a couple of things. That's it. Alex Jones was right, and he was certainly right about the gay frogs. He kind of made fun of it, but he had a point there. He was educating the younger generation that, hey, what's this atrazine? What's this atrazine doing? If it's going to do that to the frogs, don't you think it might do it to our children? I mean, think about that. Think about that for a minute. If we've got atrazine from big agriculture and farming, Monsanto and these guys fucking with us in the fields, fucking with us with our food supply, and that gets into our tap water, don't you think that might mess with our children and maybe give them a little gender dysphoria, like the gay frogs got a big case of gender dysphoria? Maybe a little bit. Maybe it's possible. Let's just not say it's for certain. Let's just say it's possible. It's possible. If it's going to turn the frogs gay, it might just turn little Jimmy into a Janice. I don't know. Something happened because all of a sudden, everybody doesn't know who they want to bang anymore. People don't know if they want sports socks or if they want a dress. That's your own business. What you do as adults is your own business. I don't like the indoctrination into the schools in targeting our children. That's where my beef. I'm not a hater. I may sound like a hater, but I'm really not a hater. If you're an adult, I'm a civil libertarian when it comes to these type of social issues. What you do is your business as an adult. You want to cut your nuts off? I might try to talk you out of it one time if we're friends. I won't say it again. It's your business. You want to mutilate and cut your nuts off? It's your right. You don't have that right to come into our schools and advocate for that. You don't have that right to normalize in our public school system that is a safe and healthy way. Why? Because I worked with at-risk teens on the streets with social services for years, 20 years ago. It's not recent. It was 20 years ago. But I did that, and I saw what gender dysphoria does. And it creates drug addiction, and it creates prostitution. What comes with drug addiction? Anybody ever seen a drug addict? What comes with drug addiction is theft and selling your butt. Prostitution. You can't escape it. If you're a junkie, you got to steal to get another hit, or you got to sell your ass. I don't want any of the youth selling their ass for nothing. No more ass selling. Not on my watch. Patrice, I started for chronic pain. I'm never going back to pills. God bless you, Patrice. Isn't it wonderful? It really is outstanding. It really is. And there is some other supplements. I wasn't joking about that InfoWars store. There is some other supplements that really does. Bodies. I use a turmeric. I take so many different naturopathic supplements. There's another one I like called bromelain. Bromelain comes from pineapple. So bromelain's an enzyme. It hits your, it tackles the arthritis. It comes from pineapple. Bromelain comes from pineapples, but it's in high doses. Bromelain changed my life. I mean, I got to a point where I couldn't even walk. I'm not kidding. I couldn't walk. I had inflammation in my knees, in my feet, my back. I couldn't walk. I came in, bromelain was one. It wasn't just all bromelain, but bromelain was one of them that was big. J Money, the lack of teaching history anymore. Vance looked hilarious on South Park. Are we winning the culture war? Is it just me? Did you notice a 180 in the culture wars? When South Park is doing Secretary Known and doing Vance, wasn't he tattoo? So you had like Ricardo Montalban, Fantasy Island, you had Donnie, and I think Vance was tattoo. Am I wrong? I think we're winning the culture wars all of a sudden. I don't know how the fuck that happened. You tell me how that happened, because I didn't expect the young people to pick it up and embrace it. But they're taking it in another direction. They are taking this shit in another direction. Nobody can plan for that. When you have culture wars, you can't plan and say that that's going to happen like that. You're guessing. I mean, we have intuition. I have a little bit of psychic intuition at times. Doesn't mean I'm always right, but I am rarely wrong. But that's not the point. It's that you might be able to have a premonition and see some things coming on. You can't predict culture wars where South Park is now riding with America first. Yeah, I don't care who you are. You can't predict that. J Money, he's still reading these. He's gonna rant at mine. Tired of all this political bullshit. Coup-de, contra coup, coup-de-coup. You know, everything's political. Everything. I don't care who you are. It doesn't change. If you stop voting, it doesn't change. The politics are still going to affect your ass. The politics are still going to affect what you can or can't do, or what jabs you're mandated to take or not take, or who's coming across the border in cartels and raping your daughters or raping your neighbors or not. Politics is coming for you, coup, country coup. You can't escape it. So the sooner you come to that realization and say, oh, maybe I should get involved in local politics, because local politics is getting involved with my life. You become the future. You become the government. You become the leader. You don't sit around and whine when you take that leadership. You don't sit around and type in chats, oh, I'm tired of politics. Why does everything got to be political? No, you don't do that. That's beta follower bullshit. Don't be a beta follower bullshit. Okay? Can I get a witness in here? Somebody in the back row say amen. Thank you, Jesus. You be the alpha leader that you envision. And it's long overdue. You step up and take some leadership, my friend. Monsanto booster to be accurate. Absolutely. Majolner's rough. Like RoboCop. I guess I got way buried in these. I'm sorry. I try to stay on it, but yeah, that's why I don't eat fast food. Fuck no, man. Not only that, it tastes horrible. It tastes horrible. I mean, when you can cook salmon and cook steaks, I'm the frugal gourmet. I eat like restaurant chef quality meals at frugal, low budget prices. Part of that is how I go shopping into the stores. I don't go in looking for a recipe. I go in looking for what's on sale. What's cheap? What's available? Chicken's going to be way outpriced. Forget about chicken for the week. If steak is cheap, which is rarely cheap, but when it is cheap, buy 3 or 4, put a couple of those in there. So how you shop is huge on how you eat effectively. and healthy. How much is rent? I pay £400 a month for 2-bed flat in a village. Right here in this building, studios are $1,000. That's I can't remember the pound ratio. I think that's like 1,000 pounds or close to it, like 800 pounds, I think. But then the one in the 2 bedrooms, you got a 2-bedroom flat. Those are going to be 1,500 to 1,800. That's if you can get in on a wait list. You're probably going to be waiting for 6 months to a year. Here, I'm talking Portland, which is the whole West Coast. This is when I say Portland, it's Portland. Seattle's just as bad. The whole West Coast, LA, oh my God. And I already said San Francisco. San Francisco, I don't know. Anybody that's struggling, I don't know why you would be in San Francisco. You're going to be homeless in San Francisco. That's why they've got so many homeless people in San Francisco. My guy, scroll up a bit. He's in the past. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm way behind. Oh, I'm sorry. Jesus. See, I start flapping my jaws and I lose all you guys. That's the problem with the phone here, though, man. Is the phone, I only get like 1 inch at the bottom. And the reason I don't use my laptop is because the camera's out. And it's a newer laptop. But somehow the camera got banged out. Karen Slater, bro, you ain't healthy. I'm very healthy. Much healthier. And I eat very, very healthy. Bro, I got you all beat. Richard Busby, I'm the master chef. What do you like to chef up? Because I know you probably are. There's not just, it's like painters. It's like artists. You know, there isn't just one artist that's painting good. I used to have galleries where I would have hundreds of artists come in and show. Well, at least a couple dozen. At a point, you run out of wall space, and you don't have space for people to put up stuff. I'm in Portland, Oregon. There's people here in the UK talking about pounds. Doshi Del, I'm from Malaysia. Malaysia in the house. Boosh, 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 boosh. Malaysia. Cooking is an art my dad taught me. Wrath. I love that. I chef for 25 years. Richard Busby. You got my uncle's beat. I learned a lot from my uncles. I learned some things. They were culinary chefs at Four Seasons and stuff. But they both had back issues. You work those long hours and you're on your feet, destroys your body. Is your body holding up all right? After 25 years of chefing, doing those long hours, is your back still working? I'm from Kuala Lumpur. Very cool. I have no idea where that's at. I can pretend that I know. I'm sorry. I'd have to look on a map. Where's our world map? I'd have to get a map. We got a map up here somewhere. Now I'm on a tugboat. Richard Busby, how cool. Are you like living on the boat? How cool. Or are you just working on the boat? Salmon 2 times a week, chicken a must work, and beef no way. Carman, I love salmon. And I've got my daughter. My daughter's now eating salmon, which is just so cool. She likes the teriyaki sauce. I've been doing a curry. So I take a curry in with a mayo, add a little bit of extra spice in with the curry and a curry mayo. Then I glaze that so I cook the salmon like 15 minutes, and then I glaze it, put it back in, and that mayo, that fat in the mayo goes into that salmon and turns into this curry crust. Oh my God. The thing about curries is that it's medicinal. Turmeric is medicinal. It's anti-inflammatory. Coconut, it's anti-inflammatory. People living in these cultures, they know that. They know pineapple has got bromelain and is an anti-inflammatory. They know all these things that we don't know here. Most people don't know here. Curtis Walton, I'm 70. For 7 years, I only eat red meat, fish, and eggs. I'm so healthy now. I'm north of San Francisco. Ooh, Marin County? Ooh, Curtis Walton. That's nice in there. I love Marin County. That's right north of there. Oh, that whole area is really nice. Congrats, Curtis. 70 and eating meats and healthy. It's awesome. I mean, what we're seeing now with the data and the disabilities, we're seeing colon reptile cancers hitting 30-year-old young people. We're seeing people coming down with Alzheimer's at 30 years old in America. What happened? What experimental therapeutic came on that now changed the entire trajectory of disabilities flying off the chart? What was it? Does anybody know? Does little Ruthie, who's dancing with the Nazis and loves the Pfizer boosters, does little Ruthie know? No, we're rewriting history with Ruth. We're just rewriting history to make it fit our own book or whatever the fuck Ruthie's babbling about. Thank God she found her way out. I was worried she needed a booze snooze. 21 days at a time. I'm from New York. Gigi, good to see you, Gigi. How's New York treating you? That's hit or miss, right? It's hit or miss, right? Same here. I don't take a damn pill for anything. 30 years in the trades. Nice job, Rath. 44 years old, and I got the body of a 20-year-old. Nice effing job. Nice effing job. Got to be proud of that. Embrace it. Oh my God, mayo with that oil will kill you. You don't use too much. You just use a little bit of it. The curry works with the anti-inflammatory. I worked at a Southeast Asian restaurant from 84 to 94. Richard Busby, you, sir, could teach me some things. You, sir, could teach me some things. Put olive oil on it and spices keep skin and never close the lid. Carman. Sonoma County. Oh, yeah. Wine country. Oh. It's a good gig if you can find it. My sister was down there in Marin County for a while. I don't know. She landed something that was paying really, really well. And I thought, my God, this is like a gated community down here. She got really lucky. It's very expensive, as you well fucking know. Dude, I stopped eating all processed food and lost weight. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't eat processed foods. My weakness, though, is that I'll get into like chocolate and chocolate cakes. So, or pies, I can cook all these different. So I have to cut all that out. And I realize I'm like, okay, so cut all that out. And I'll easily drop 20 or 30 pounds in a couple months. I kind of yo-yo like that. What's a ball hammer in this context? A ball hammer? Even vitamins are synthetic. That's a good point. That's a good point, too. Actually, that's a very valid point. Where do we get the vitamins? Where are they being manufactured? What kind of heavy metals are in them? I keep watching these videos on these guys talking about magnesium because I get leg cramps and muscle spasms in my legs. So magnesium cures that. But there's like 5 different kinds of magnesium. I had no idea. So you've got a certain glycinate, magnesium, I think is it glycinate? That's far better than all the other ones. And then even in that, there's cheap manufacturing that has all these heavy metals in it. So I make my own mayo with the eggs. Nice, Richard. But Busby, you're like my chef friends. I have a couple of chef buddies because I never actually worked professionally. I have chef skills. I taught them how to paint in the oil paintings because I've been doing that for 30 years. I'm a pro with painting. And then they taught me chef skills and simple things that I had never thought about, that I had never had before. Really simple things. And I'm drawing a blank on them now. Now that I say that, I'm like, well, what kind of simple things? Just simple recipes that you wouldn't think of unless someone said, well, you do it this way or you do it that way. Like fish sauce. Like Busby, you've got the background on the Asian. Fish sauce, and it smells like death. It smells like you've got dead fish in the water. But fish sauce in a little bit, in a certain type of recipe, you don't taste fish sauce. You taste this wonderful salty layer that is like magnificent. Homemade mayo, it's not hard to do, is it? I guess I'm kind of lazy with that. I don't make my own mayo. You bought your own cow? Nice job. Chocolate is good. Yeah, I have to. I kind of do it seasonally now. So the Christmas time, I'll do the cookies and I'll do seasonal. And then January, February, I'm back into on the strict diet. I gotta cut it all back down. Stick just to the proteins. Get on the proteins and cut the carbs out. I like bread too. So these different kinds of rustic breads, and breads are so wonderful. It's pure carbs. I mean, I was reading some data. It was like a loaf of bread is like 20 beers. The comparison of carbohydrates is like 20 beers, something like this. It's just insane, the amount of carbs in bread and pasta. So when you're dropping pounds for whatever reason, you have to cut those carbs out. Brandon Guest smells like Teen Spirit. America, what's your cholesterol? Cholesterol's good. My cholesterol's good. The sugar, I'm borderline on the sugars. So, and I have to watch that. The older I get, I have to pay more attention to the sugars. But, I used to drink. I used to drink like a fish for 20 years. I've been off the sauce for 15. But, I mean, for 20 years, I drank all the time. And that fucks up your whole body. It fucks up your liver, the kidneys. It screwed my metabolism up a little bit more. I also have a metabolic disorder. It's called hemochromatosis. It's an iron overload. A lot of middle-aged white guys don't know they've got hemochromatosis. Your body absorbs the iron, and then it can't get rid of it. And women will menstruate, so a little bit of iron comes out with that blood, but men, they're not menstruating, although that is debatable in some Portland high schools, not in my book, but in some Portland high schools. So I have to go in and I have to donate blood. I have to get the blood out because the iron, the ferritin levels spike and it'll start causing migraines. It starts crystallizing in my joints. It's a part of my joint pain is from this iron overload. Stop sugar and never worry about cholesterol. My cholesterol has always been good, thank God. I've got really good, the good cholesterol's up there and all that. So it's the sugar. It's the blood sugar. The older you get, especially if we're a drinker, if you're a heavy drinker, the sugars, your pancreas and all of that is the young guys don't know that. It's the sugars in the booze and what they're adding. You're drinking whiskey and Cokes. Stop drinking Coke. You'd be better off. You should really stop drinking whiskey, but I'm not going to lecture anybody. I drank for 25 years. But get rid of those sugars. You're better off just drinking whiskey, just neat, rather than on the rocks. I'll tell you, alcohol, out of all the drugs out there, thank God I never fell into any serious traps. Alcohol was the only one that kept a hold of me because it made me more extroverted. And so I could walk into a bar and I could have a couple of drinks and all of a sudden there was a social dynamic that would happen. And I met beautiful women. I had beautiful special lady friends. I'm not sure I could have met all those beautiful women if I didn't have a social setting, a watering hole. And that's my theory today is why the young people are having such a hard time hooking up. They're having such a hard time with getting some booty, get a booty call. Because that social dynamic, it's not there with the Zoomers. Even the millennials, even before the COVID destroyed it. How are you going to make out with a honey in a bar if they think they're going to die from a flu virus that's on your lips, right? It's worse than the AIDS epidemic in the 80s. They told these ladies they were going to die from a flu virus on your lips. You ain't getting any booty in that bar. Brandon Guest, I'm a heavy drinker. You know what? Cannabis is good. I phased it out. And I phased out. That's how I did it. And I eventually, the last couple of years, this was 15 years ago, I still occasionally will have like a glass of Chardonnay, but maybe twice a year, I switched over to Chardonnay. And they say red wine, the sulfites give me a headache. I couldn't drink it. But I switched into Chardonnay and I got off on the hard stuff. So if you're drinking like whiskey, when I hear heavy drinker, usually the bros are drinking whiskey. But if it's vodka or whatever it is, rum, probably whiskey, you got to phase that out. And I don't like beers. So it's like I went into a Chardonnay. But even that, you got to phase that out because the wines have got sugar too, boss. Richard Busby says, oh yeah, I quit drinking Coke. You know what I was addicted to was Diet Cherry Pepsi. I'm a Pepsi guy. I was a Pepsi guy, but I'm not a big cola guy. But that cherry, the Diet Cherry, I swear to God, that was as hard to quit drinking as vodka. I'm serious. I mean, it sounds like I'm trying to crack a joke. There's chemicals in there. I don't know if it was the aspartame. I think it was the aspartame. There's chemicals in there that actually create this different synthetic component. I don't know how to explain it, but no, fuck. I would never drink a diet beverage. After what I've learned on the diets, you're better off drinking sugar than this aspartame. Aspartame kills all of the lab rats in the laboratory. All of them. Dead. Aspartame's a killer. We ought to ask Secretary Bobby Kennedy why he has not pulled aspartame out of our food supplies. Now, Bobby Kennedy is doing some good things. Did you see what he did with the mRNAs? He pulled the mRNAs. They pulled a fast one on it. While he was on vacation, a couple of these staffers came in and pulled a quick one trying to promote the mRNA. And he came back in, he had to fire him. In fact, he had to clear out the entire sabotaged vaccine recommendation group, whatever that little group was. He fired them all. Just this last couple of days, this last week, he finally balled up and said, we're going to pull these out of there. There's more side effects than there is benefit from these mRNA. And they're still in our food supplies. They're still injecting those in the cattle. They're still injecting mRNAs in the chickens and the pigs. Those have all got to be removed, in my opinion. Not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a farmer. But we can't have mRNA that can easily be spread from meat products to consumption to humans. That's a fact. That's what makes these self-replicating mRNAs so much different. I make my own soda. Nice. See, you're the dude, man. Your own mayo, your own soda, CO2 tank, make your own. Okay, I've seen that. Okay, I have seen those kits. They've got like these little soda, little do-it-yourself. All I drink now is seltzer, except for juice. And that's still got too much sugar, but I do like the pineapple juice. I do like cranberry and elderberry, so there's benefits outweigh that sugar, but seltzers, zero sugar. My daughter and I both. That's been for years. And we get the flavor, they'll put in natural flavors, zero sugar, zero additives, nothing. I mean, once you go there, it's all Coke, Dr. Pepper, and Pepsi will destroy your kidneys. I'm in an apartment with 100 units. There's a lady, there's a young woman that lives down on the second floor. And she admitted to me, and we became friends. Our daughters were friends briefly. She said she stopped drinking water, and all she drank was Dr. Pepper. That's it. And she admitted it to me because I said, wow, you drink a lot of Dr. Pepper. You know, it was like it was always being delivered. Dr. Pepper was always coming to the door, and she was always like, you know, I got to get my Dr. Pepper, and I got to make some calls and find a driver. She didn't drive. I got to get the Dr. Pepper. And I'm like, whoa. Like, this Dr. Pepper is real shit. Then she told me, she goes, I don't drink water. I'm like, wait, what? You can't just stop drinking water. She goes, yeah, I don't drink any water at all. I drink Dr. Pepper. It's liquid. And I'm like, oh my God. That can't be healthy. That can't be healthy. No alcohol's good. Yeah, I loved it for 25 years. I'll never lecture to somebody that drinks, ever. Because I drank for 25 years and I fucking loved it. And if you can do moderation, it's actually, there's a lot of studies that come out. I read a lot of medical studies. I read all the studies that I can get my hands on. And I follow on YouTube a lot of doctors. There's a lot of doctors doing videos. And a lot of them have got research papers. I love reading that shit, you know? It's like, that's self-education. That's my style. That's what I've done. And so I'll read that. And there's a lot of data out there to consume. You still have to make your own. You have to make your own decisions. Handsome can't dude's an ignorant predator. Who are you talking about? Cola. I make my own colas. Water is so good. And lemons. So when I was detoxing the liver, when I quit drinking, and I had marbled liver, I had fatty liver, and it was marbled. It's like they call it marbling, and I had a spot. So they said you might have liver cancer, and I was like, oh fuck. I go, that's terminal, right? They're like, well, if you do have that, yeah, it's terminal. And I'm like, oh fuck. And I had, I got like my baby. I'm a single dad, raised my daughter on my own. It's a whole nother story. The mom didn't really want to be a mom, and I wanted to be a dad. So I was a few years older than her, so I just stepped up to it. But then I was like, all of a sudden, I'm like, holy shit, I got to quit drinking. I got to get into real estate. I got to start doing some stocks or something. It's like my vagabond lifestyle of just living in warehouses, because that's what I did. I was like an artist that lived in warehouses, and we'd throw parties. I mean, that was my life for like 20 years. In Portland, it was cheap, fun, and easy. We'd have rave parties. We'd make some money and meet beautiful, fun people. I mean, that was the Portland lifestyle. It's not like that anymore. Portland's now turned into hell. And I'm being driven out of here because of the price of the rent. But what was I rambling on about? Why did I bring all that up? It was just you got to change. I had to change my lifestyle. So lemon. Oh, yeah, I remember. I got off on a branch. Lemon in the water. So the first thing in the morning, lemon and the water. With first thing, chug that. And what that does when you wake up is it flushes all of the toxins that have been sitting in your body as you slept. It flushes it instead of reuptake and being reabsorbed. Fatty liver's gone. The marbling's gone. The spot that was on my liver, gone. Completely reversed. Just stopping the alcohol and using cannabis and starting in not just the lemon water, but I do pride myself. I preach that lemon water. So if you're a heavy drinker, like the brother said, he goes, man, I'm drinking. He goes, I'm a heavy drinker. Start your mornings, before you start your morning vodka and tonics. Don't do that either, though. Well, whatever. Don't do that. Lemon water and chug. So you put your fresh lemons in there and chug that and flush that out. And that will help detox your liver, which will help detox you. Now, there's other things you can do, like steam sauna. I'm a huge steam sauna guy. I got some Native American blood, so I used to do tribal 4 sweats. You do 4 directions. Like you may not know, but then there's Vision Quest, where you do like mushrooms and things, and you do the same sweat lodge. When you sweat, all of those toxins come out of your body, your blood, the fat, all of that comes out in the sweats, and you detox. So if you're a heavy drinker, you got to find a gym and start doing steam saunas. I don't like the hot tubs myself. I prefer the steam saunas. Paul Kleemeyer says, I distill my own water. Bravo. Really? So you heat it, you've got a whole system? That'd be cool to see. Curtis says, juice, ice cold water with a squeeze of calamansi. Okay, Patrice, stay safe. Good night. She'll have diabetes in a minute. That's what I said. She's a little tiny gal, too, and her little daughter was like tiny little alien, little 3-foot daughter. And I was just like, I go, she drinks water, though, right? I mean, you're not putting Dr. Pepper in the bottle. And I was just like, did you raise the child on Dr. Pepper? I don't know, man. Some things you really can't get in people's business. We don't talk anymore. I think she's still down there, but who knows? I've had a bunch of neighbors die. Dr. Pepper will kill you. I'm convinced that soda will kill you. So Paul Kleemeyer says, distilled water with lemon juice and pink Himalayan salt. I have been hearing a lot of people talking about Himalayan pink salt. It's got iodine in it. And so the iodine's good. I take a supplement from InfoWars when he's got it in stock, the InfoWars store, the iodine. And I think it's X3, X2, X3, one of those. And the iodine is another one. That may have been another big part of what switched my liver around. See, people don't realize the liver is the only organ in your body that will repair itself. You could actually cut a part of the liver off. Don't do that. Nobody wants that. But it will grow back. It will grow back. And so I switched it completely around by cutting that out. Yeah, Mr. Jay-Z says, if you drink alcohol, make sure to drink the same amount of water. I've heard that. And there's actually some supplements that you can take too. There's some people that actually, and the other big one that I recommend if you're a heavy drinker, magnesium. Magnesium. Because when you're drinking a lot, you're flushing out a lot, which means you're flushing the salts. You need that salt. All your electrical, all your wiring from your brain and everything in your body. Salt is how that goes through the electromagnetic currents. So you have to add some salts. That's magnesium. It's a preferred salt, just like that Himalayan salt. There's a lot of people that are coming out talking about how it's not just get rid of salt. It's actually you need salt for your body to function correctly. And I agree with that. This dude was first in line for voting for Trump and Maha. Let's go. I quit for 5 years, but unfortunately started again. It's my own fault. Brandon, don't beat yourself up about it. I did it. We all do that. All heavy drinkers, and you got to use the word alcoholics. All alcoholics, all heavy drinkers. It's not a bad word. It's what we are. It's what we did. Is we all go through wellness periods, and you have to look at it that way. It's a wellness period, and you'll have triggers, whether it's split up with a sexy mama or something, a job or triggers, stress, COVID. Everybody started drinking with COVID. The alcohol sales was historically at an all-time high in America with COVID. If you didn't know that, that's a fact. You know what else was right there was cannabis sales. We had record cannabis sales in Oregon during COVID. You lock people down and they're freaking out, depressed, isolated. You're going to hit the sauce, which is going to fuck up your liver and make things worse, or you're going to hit the cannabis, or both. Don't beat yourself up. That's the one thing that alcoholics do. Gamblers do the same thing. Gamblers just beat themselves up. And that's how they lose their cool. That's the other thing with that guy that went into, was it BlackRock building? Went up to the 33rd floor. This was the New York City shooter. Out of all the floors, the 33rd floor of BlackRock goes into the New York City BlackRock 33rd floor, just walking down the street with his AK-47 out in the open, not even in a case. He's just strolling along. Nobody's asking him any questions. That's the way New York City rolls, huh? Yeah, you just walk down with an AK-47 and everyone gives you space and no one tries to take it away. He had CTE. He had multiple head injuries. So he was blaming the NFL. Somebody up there on the 30th floor had something to do with the NFL, or there was NFL, some executive was in that building. I don't know what all the details were, but he went in there and he was a gambler. Where did he come from? Las Vegas. He owed a bunch of money in Las Vegas. He spent a lot of time in the casino. So when people were trying to pin that he was on SSRIs, and I don't think that necessarily makes you want to shoot people. I've seen people on SSRIs, actually it improves their negativity. The problem is you get addicted to that. But I think he might have been on psychotropics. I'm forgetting this guy's name. It's the guy that shot up the BlackRock. So he had CTEs, was blaming the NFL, and he was a gambling addict. You know who else was a gambling addict? Paddock in the Las Vegas, where he shot up that country. Now, I think he might have been framed, and I think he was an arms dealer. That was the Las Vegas, the Mandalay Bay shooter. But lordy, he's spent high baller gambler. Gamblers beat themselves up. And as they beat themselves up with that depression, they either off themselves or worse, they go in and they start shooting up their place of employment or whatever, right? You follow me? Don't do that. Don't do that. You had a Breaking Bad moment. I think I might have. Did you paint the gorgeous painting behind you? Yeah, I did, Jewel GG. That one is not done, but it is a ocean wave at a sunset. So I'm going to come in with that one. And where you see the yellow, I'm going to come in with some lighter yellow, a little more sunset. And then I got to fade in a little bit of this in here. And then I'm going to come in with white. It's got this viewer limit on here. I can't even see my own painting. There it is. There it goes away. Oh, now it's back. I don't know why it keeps telling me what the viewer limit. Get more subscribers to get more viewers. So they put a cap on me. So people that want to come in, if there's a cap on who can view, because I only have like 150 subscribers. So I have to get more subscribers so I can have more people coming in and view. But yeah, I've got some more work on that. I love the ocean. I've lived at the ocean for a couple of years. I paint piece after piece after piece is all water themed, mermaids. I love mermaids. I love painting blue mermaids or blue people, stuff like this. I'm a mushroom expert. Richard Busby. I love mushrooms. Mushrooms are medicinal. That people don't realize that. The Japanese culture, Asian cultures, Chinese, they understand the mushroom is the healer. The mushroom is the healer. And there's different mushrooms for different healing, right? You got mushrooms to heal the head. You got mushrooms to heal depression and to heal the liver. Rich, I cured a guy's cancer with chaga. Wow, I'm preaching to the choir, Richard Busby. I cured a guy's cancer with chaga mushroom. That's a testament, my friend. Paul Klemer, I like that movie blast from the past or Brandon Fraser's Dead Drunk Warm Dr. Pepper. Milk thistle and dandelion greens for the liver, Richard Busby. Right on, right on. You got to be careful with that, though. I've seen people actually harm their liver by doubling it up. They think, well, I'll double and triple the dose. Be careful with that, especially if you're a heavy drinker. Your liver's already kind of sensitive. Carnivore diet. Well, I'm way back, aren't I? I'm sorry. I'll come back later when the painting how it is. Yeah, come on back and take a look. You can take a look at my content too. I like to do time sequences of paintings. Like my last Cannabis piece, you'll see where I flicked the black liquid enamel on the canvas. And then you'll see in that little short that I do with music, you'll see where I filled it in. And then you'll see the next layer where I filled it in, and you can see the finished product and the Cannabis sells really well. I actually have a couple of clients that specifically commission me to do Cannabis stuff. So, and I love to do it, I'm subscribed. Cool, Richard Busby. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I thought I recognized your name. Good night, Brandon. Good night, folks. That's probably a good spot for me to close out. I like beer with hops. Yeah, we've got in Portland. We're like the micro beer. We started micro beers in the country here. Really, we did. Just like Cannabis. Honestly, I'm not just talking up Oregon, and so we got hops. I can't even describe it. But see, my thing is with the beers, it's like almost an allergic reaction. It's like I get bloated, I feel gassy, it makes me feel kind of nauseous. So it's like you can't do it. It's just like red wine. If the sulfites give you a migraine, you don't drink red wine anymore. Oh, you're saying no to the carnivore diet? No to the carnivore diet. Okay, you don't like that one. We need balance. Okay, I'll take you on that one. You're probably right. Jewel GG, God bless you, Jewel. I appreciate that. It does help. I don't do a lot of videos. I'll never sell you anything, which maybe I need to change that. Rent goes up every year. Maybe I need to start trying to sell like a poster, but I don't sell anything. I'm not trying to hustle anybody. I don't even really do it for the clicks, which maybe I need to change that too. But, as it sends me these little messages up here, it says, you can't have any more people watching you because you don't have enough subscribers. It says it reaches your limit. So I'm like, so that's how it works. That's how it works, right? They throttle you until you get to 1,000. I've only got like 160. 150, 160. I mean, I'm not even at 1,000. Thanks, Mr. Jay-Z. Just subscribed. I appreciate it. It does matter. I just like to create and I like to share, right? So I don't really think about all the logistics. I don't think about the business end of all this YouTube stuff. I don't think about that. I don't think about you need subscribers so you can get more viewers, then you get more clicks, and then you're, blah, 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 blah. it doesn't, I don't think like that. It's just not my priority. So I need to reassess if I'm really serious going to try to grow a channel or maybe a couple channels. I need to reassess what I'm thinking and how I'm thinking about it. You're very kind and you said some things that reinforced something I needed to hear. Thank you. Well, God bless you, Jewel Gigi. I love the name Jewel Gigi and I love the name Jewel. So you have both of them. Are you married? Can we get married? Can you move to Portland and I'll cook for you and massage your feet? I'm kidding. Sort of kidding. I love you. God bless you. Thank you for everything. I do appreciate it. It does help. And Portland is a gem. I haven't given up on Portland. You know, this whole thing, we kind of got off track on food and stuff, and I'm okay with that. I kind of anticipate that now. The last couple of, you know, we got several. I've never used to get several thousand viewers, just people dropping in. Most of them are trolls. So I get a little dickish. I get a little punchy with some of these trolls just because fuck them, right? You're going to fuck with me, I'm going to fuck with you. But there's beautiful people out there to reach. You are the people I'm looking for. It's these people that lasted an hour and 40 minutes or came in towards the end and here you are and you're subscribing. Those are the people we're looking for. But, you know, Portland is a jewel. We're just in a transformation. Portland survived. I was here during the crack epidemic. You know, when the CIA was pumping crack cocaine up through LA. You got Ricky Freeway and you know, Webb broke the story and then they whacked him and they said he killed himself. All that crack cocaine, that came into Portland in the 80s and it devastated Portland. On top of that, we were having white supremacists that were coming from rural. So we had skinheads and I used to, you know, I got a couple of scars from battling literally skinheads. So it's like I'm kind of hypersensitive when people are calling MAGA Nazis. It triggers me. Because I actually literally fought bona fide fucking Nazis in Portland. My family did die fighting Nazis in World War II. That's true. You got Navy, you got Air Force. So when people come in and they want to attack Trump, calling him a Nazi, he's not a Nazi. You may not like some of his policies or some of his things. Trump is not a pedophile. And Trump is not a Nazi. Okay, and if he can make this peace accord happen, I've been having premonitions of Alaska, and I keep thinking that it's a big earthquake, right? Because sometimes I do get these premonition. Coos Bay in the house. I love Coos Bay. Cognitive Dissidents just found this channel. Hello from the mid coast of Oregon. Newport's the mid coast. I live down in Newport and Depot Bay. I love the coast so much. My daughter and I actually want to try to get back in if we can get our name on a couple of lists of some affordable apartments. Probably have to wait for a year, maybe a little longer with the demand in Oregon. But if I can get an apartment, you know, $700-800 instead of $1,500, we're going to move down to the coast. I'm looking at Newport again because I used to live down in Newport. And I had a couple of clients in Depot Bay. I would bring down new paintings and they would buy them. But yeah, what was I saying before that? Between Newport and Florence? Oh yeah, that's beautiful. There's yachts down through there. I love that whole area, man. Florence is really cool. Those sand dunes down there by that little Darlatonian garden. They've got where the city's drinking water comes from. Their Colored Lake. They got these sand dunes down there that are just miles and miles. We would ride these dune buggies all through Florence. It's really wonderful down there. What was I going to say about Portland? I was rambling on about Portland. We survived the crack epidemic. Let me come back on my thought there. And it was ugly. I mean, we had Crips and Bloods. I had people shot blood on my sidewalks because I lived right out in the hood. What was used to be the hood. Now it's all gentrified here in Portland, but they ran all the communities of color. A lot of people made a lot of money selling their homes, but then all the rents went up. So they ran all the artists out of North Portland. They ran all the artists out of the so-called hood, which really wasn't that much of a hood in Portland. But back in the 80s, it was. So I was battling skinheads. We had Crips and Bloods that were being poisoned by the CIA's crack cocaine program coming up I-5 from California right into Portland, up into Seattle. We survived that, and we built on that. And I have that same faith and confidence. Been here my whole life. I'm getting to be an old timer. I'm a Gen X baby. we can survive this. And what really killed Portland? Two things. It was the COVID, not the COVID virus, but it was the COVID policies, the mandates where they ran the small business out, bankrupted it. It paid people to not work. They paid people not to work. Those Democrat mandates and policies, it destroyed Portland. And that then they also did some things people aren't aware of. They released the prisons. They did this in California too. That's why crime went off the charts through the roof in California right now. Still is, but it's getting a little bit better, but it's still really rough. Portland's the same story. So they released the state hospitals. Somehow in these neoliberal Democrats' minds that it would be inhumane to keep mentally ill and violent criminals locked up in prison where they were told that they were going to get COVID and they were going to die in their prison cells. So they just, Governor Brown at the time, she just started releasing violent criminals. Thousands and thousands. Released all the mentally ill that were in the state hospital. Released them onto the streets. That's what happened to Portland. People don't want to talk about that. Democrats don't want to talk about that in Portland. That's what happened to Portland. On top of violent anarcho-comms, the anarchists came in 2020, fueled by the Black Lives Matter, which I really think they got co-opted. A lot of the Black Lives Matter here in Portland on the West Coast were good people. Originally, they were good people. But you had these bad operatives that came in from all over the country, and sure enough, we had months and months and months and months smashing out the small businesses, trying to blow up the federal courthouse. That violence alone, it kept the money. It kept the art collectors. It kept the money out of downtown, which means the small businesses collapsed, which means the big box businesses like Target and all the rest used it as an excuse. Well, the theft was hitting them too. It collapsed downtown Portland. We've never, ever recovered from that. That was 5 years ago. And we're still in that state of chaos. I think Seattle is the same way. And I know for a fact San Francisco and LA is. Cognitive says South Carolina prevented Joe bribe. I'm from releasing the Epstein list to destroy Trump. Probably so. Supreme Court. Keep going. Pick me stream. Joe Biden mega fan. Joe Biden. We got Joe Biden mega fan in the house. All right, buddy. The traffic of children has been horrific. Yes, drugs as well. Hundreds of thousands of overdoses. We're losing 200,000 people. 200,000 people every year to, in large part, poison. These aren't even the hardcore drug addicts. These aren't the ones that are getting Narcan shot into their nose over and over again. These are the teens, Oregon teens. We've lost dozens of teens who thought they were taking a simple Vicodin, who thought they were just taking a Xanabar, a little Xanax, something very innocent to help relieve stress and anxiety for them. And it was laced with fentanyl, killed them on the first hit, killed them on the first pill. And then you've got little toddlers who are wandering around the house with incompetent fucking parents. And I got to hold some parents responsible. You got to hold them responsible. I'm sorry. Eating those pills, and that fentanyl is killing. We've never seen anything like this fentanyl. It's intentional. The try comes, and it's not just xenophobic. The Chinese communists supplied the chemicals to the drug cartels to make up this souped-up, super-hyped fentanyl. And then they pressed their own pills, and they flooded with the open borders for 4 years with Biden, and it's destroyed and devastated my community. It's destroyed and devastated Portland and Oregon, not just the rural, too. Fucking it hit the rural people, too. And it wiped out the West Coast, point blank. If you're from Seattle, if you're from California, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. I think it was worse than the crack cocaine. But as DGP1, Xanax and Vike is not a little nothing. Well, you're right. I don't mean to minimize it, but hydrocodone in the big scheme of things, Xanax, I've had women love that. I've had girlfriends that love Xanax. I don't mind. I would much rather have a little sedative and be a little chilled out rather than flipping their lid and freaking out and getting violent. You know, that happens too, especially with the girlfriends that drink rum or vodka. I've had my share. So I don't want to minimize it, but at the same time, I'm not down on all prescriptions. I think that it's something that needs to be talked with a practitioner, and you can't mess around with it on the streets anymore. I'm sorry, it's done. It's over. You can't do that. You got to stick with cannabis. They're mixing this fentanyl in with all drugs. Ketamine. Ketamine is a wonderful, wonderful drug. Listen to me, sounding like I'm somehow some sort of ketamine pusher. It is wonderful for people. It helps with depression. It helps with a reset. I used to have migraines so bad, it's been several years, that I would go into the emergency room and Providence would actually do an IV, get me going with liquids, and they'd hit me with some ketamine and some other stuff, anti-nausea. And it would reset me. The migraine would be gone. I'd have 3-day, 5-day migraines. Just totally something wrong with the neurological, the salt. I don't know exactly. It could have something to do with the iron overload, the hemochromatosis. That's the metabolic disorder that I have. This iron overload is the layman's term. It affects a lot more middle-aged white guys than they realize. Only the middle-aged white guys, by the way. You don't see it with communities of color. But this iron overload, it attacks the neurons, it attacks the brains, and it's like, I would be sick for days. Ketamine cured that. Ketamine cured that. And ketamine is used, they're using it in studies right now, clinical studies, like they do with mushrooms and cubensis, where it's a reset. People are in a deep depression, suicidal. It'll reset. It can reset those things and turn those people's lives around with counseling and with lifestyle changes. So, I don't want to sound like a big ketamine pusher, but I don't lump that in. There is some pharmaceuticals that are very helpful. It can be helpful for people. Where'd crack come from? Crack came from the CIA. You know that damn well. Justin Moore, spot on. CIA. And you notice that the crack cocaine, where did it go? It went straight into the communities of color. Right? You get the Donald Trumps and you see all these videos and pictures with Trump and all these high level people in the 80s and 90s. They all look like they're coked out of their heads. Those guys were snorting. The wealthy white guys were snorting. And you get Hunter Biden, who got pulled in on. He probably started with snorting just like the rest of the white guys. Then you get into the crack and stuff, but they pushed that crack cocaine specifically, targeted, intentionally, on purpose, into the communities of color. You know it, and I know it, and history knows it. And we don't have little dancing Ruthie with the Ukraine Nazis to tell us we're rewriting history. Because Ruthie dancing with the Nazis, we're not rewriting history. We're speaking the truth. No hospital gave you Ket for migraines. Yeah, they did. Yes, they do. And they did. And it's wonderful. And it really is awesome. Because that's the only way I could get insurance to pay for it, too. You could only be used right now with emergency purposes, and insurance won't cover it. I'm on Medicaid, so the Medicaid insurance, I don't think any insurance will cover ketamine. They may change that, just like they may change with the cubensis. Cognitive dissonance says ketamine's being used more and more. It is, and it's always been out. That's one of the go-to recreational drugs that we did in the 90s was MDMA and the ketamine and these things. And I find it really ironic that what Gen Xers were doing as we created these rave parties in this rave culture, these experimental drugs that we were doing are now being used in clinical studies to treat real life mental disorders in 2025. I find that remarkable. It's kind of like we were our own little lab rats. Granted, it's not healthy. It's not a healthy lifestyle to just be snorting stuff where ketamine, MDMA could be mixed with cocaine, which it often was, or it'd be mixed with China White. I've snorted it before and I was like, oh shit, that's not cocaine. And then I'm like out for 12 hours, There's a lot of danger. There's a lot of people that die. So it's not something that you can recommend. That's why I think that advocating for a clinical, measured, pure, clean dose in a clinical study by a trained medical professional, it is a life changer. It could be a life changer for a lot of people. It's much better than the streets. So that's just my personal take on it. You say Katie Johnson and all victims are liars. Katie Johnson. I'm not sure. Sounds like you're making a willful choice to assume the silver spoon should grape little kids, and you will willfully look the other direction. Beverly Charles, it's just a horrific, horrible deduction to even type in on our chat. You really are a cancer on our chat, okay? None of us are saying that. None of us said that. None of us believe that. So find the door. Get the fuck out of here, Beverly. Get the fuck out of here. Ketamine is very different from fentanyl and has broader medical applications. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm rambling on about some things. Fentanyl is horrific, and the street version is killing people. So I can't equate that. The problem, the reason that I was rambling there and they went together, is that the ketamine that we could find on the street, you can't fuck with anymore because it's been cut. You don't know what the cartels have cut on it. And I've heard numerous stories of people thinking that they were snorting MDMA or they were snorting ketamine, and it was cut with the fentanyl and it killed them. And Narcan shot several times into the nose may save some of them. I've had roommates, not roommates. I've had neighbors here in the apartment building that have died. Not roommates, neighbors right next door. And then there was another lady who 2 or 3 times, her roommate was banging on my door saying, help me, help me, help me. And I went over there and she's blue. She's fucking blue. This was last year, maybe a little longer, 2 years. Blue. Scariest, like a Smurf blue. And, and then the other neighbors, I don't know anything about the Narcan. I don't want to apply it. I didn't even want to touch her. So I was like, you're going to have to do CPR, but 911 says do some chest compressions. And they brought her back a couple of times. And then the third time, and she had a Bible open. And, I'm not a real preachy guy, but I am deeply religious, and I believe in the Spirit of God, and I believe in Jesus. And I've studied the Bible my whole life. I was raised, I got biblical names. I come from multiple generations of biblical names of these fundamentalists, these Pentecostal fundamentalists. And she had a Bible open in the apartment, and I'll never forget it because it almost made me tear up. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to read scripture because she's dead. And this is going to be me reading scripture to God to accept this soul into it. And then I thought, no, look, and where it was open, I can't remember what it said. Now I should remember. I think it was Isaiah, but it was something about, I said to her as I thought she was dead. She's laying blue on her back. She was a large young lady. And I said, this is God speaking to you. So somehow the Spirit came through me, and I was talking as if God was speaking through me to her. And I said, God is speaking to you now. You have to turn this around. You can turn it around, but you have to stop doing what you're doing because there will be no third time. Or what did I say? The third time is the last time, or this is the last time, something like this. It wasn't even my own words. You know what I'm saying? It was just like the Spirit comes on like that. And just saying things, and I just put my hand on the Bible. I didn't read a whole lot, but I did read something. And sure enough, the Narcan brought her back around. Somebody was shooting multiple doses up in her fucking nose, and that was it. That was the last time. The next time, there was 2 white vans, coroners with numbers on the back, Multnomah County coroners, to haul her dead body out. And when I came up, they were hauling her out, zipped up in a white bag, and she was dead. So it was in a weird way, it was God saying, you get one more. You get one more, baby cakes. You get one more. If you're going to keep smoking, I think she was smoking it. I don't know what she was doing. But, I assume that's what they're doing. They're smoking it with meth. That's what people were telling me. They put it on a foil and they were smoking like the old days. We called it a speedball, where it was like heroin and cocaine or China White. You know, we used to get this China White shit, and it's amazing that I'm still alive, to be honest. But I can preach to people and tell them not to do this shit, right? So I think she was smoking something, and that was it. She was gone. You know, and the roommate, heartbroken. You know, but had several people die in the building from fentanyl. And there's been thousands of people die in Portland from fentanyl. And I wonder how many of them actually know that that's what it was. If they were ordering that, or if it was mixed. You're on Medicaid and support Trump. What's wrong with you? Medicaid it's a minor adjustment of what they were doing. If they really hyped up them cutting Medicaid and doing a work requirement, I actually supported cutting the Medicaid. We don't need to be financing people that aren't U.S. citizens. But I also am a big believer in supporting our U.S. citizens. We need to take care of our people. So I don't see that as a contradiction at all. What you're being told, you got to turn CNN off, brother. If you're listening to NBC, you got to turn it off, okay? There's a work requirement. So if you're disabled, it happens now. It's happened for years under Clinton. Clinton did a work requirement too in the 90s. You have to have a doctor. You have to have a medical team that signs off on your shit and says, this person's got this shit going on. It's legit. He's exempt. So that stuff's been going on for a long time. The way that they spun it, the Democrats spun it is, oh my God, you're going to kill people and Now, to be fair, on your side of if you believe that, I find it really inappropriate to mandate up to 65, 55 to 65, to mandate that they find work to keep their food benefits and to keep Medicaid. I find that to be unnecessary. But there's parts of that reform of the Medicaid I don't have huge issues with. There's a lot of trolls in this chat. I get thousands of trolls in these live streams, Chris. God bless you for being here and hunting the trolls, my friend. Sandra Wells, my boyfriend is a pure pothead. What's a pure pothead, Sandra? And he has not had any fentanyl in his weed since he's been smoking up in Alabama. I'm sorry to laugh. It's probably not funny. None of that's funny. But here in Oregon, on that testing, we test. We test for molds. We test. It's a part of our mandate. Oregon is one of the only states that does that. And it's a great template because what it does is it created these labs. So we have these lab businesses that are hiring chemists, that are hiring receptionists, that all need people. They all need artwork on the walls. Get my drift? The artist that does cannabis art, all these labs need artwork. They want artwork. They're looking for original artwork. So it's a trickle down of the cannabis industry. Plus, in addition to making cannabis safer. Weed out the pesticides. Check and see if there's fentanyl or opiates in that. You're not going to find that when it's sold on the retail. And if there is something that's bad coming in, it gets blocked. It'll get stopped and somebody will say, no, it's sparkling. It's sparkled. It's got some sort of additive. Or they'll say, no. This has actually knocked out my old lady and pull this shit. So, and they'll catch that before it makes it to the retail. Now in Alabama, you can actually go to prison with a small chunk of cannabis. Am I wrong, Sandra? This is why we have to legalize this nationally. Not only for the banking, we need federal banking laws. There's senators that have proposed it, and we can't get past these rhinos, these reefer madness rhinos that are in the House and the Senate. Okay, are you with me? They're fighting cannabis banking legislation. They're fighting us all the way. And it's like the governor, Ron DeSantis, this framing, they don't want to smell the cannabis. That's what he actually said. Oh, we don't want to have the people smelling cannabis. You dipshit governor, fucking cocaine cowboy. This guy, he looked like he'd been snorting cocaine for months on the campaign trail running against Trump. You remember Governor DeSantis? That guy was so stoned out of his head on coke. Come on. And it's always the cokeheads that come out against the pot. You notice that? It's always the heavy drinking coke addicts that are like, well, marijuana is really a crutch. You ought to get into this. What we do actually improves our workload. We do 80 to 90 hours a week as long as we're snorting the coke. So it's always these guys. And this Governor DeSantis, it's those types. I'm not just trying to pick on him, but he is a real motherfucker that he's trying to reverse medical marijuana in Florida. These are people, he's making it tougher for medical marijuana in Florida. So he fought the retail. He came out against it. The retail barely lost. Legalization in Florida barely lost because of the Governor Ron DeSantis people. And he wants to be president in 2028. So you remember that motherfucker and shoot his ass down, not politically, not figuratively, not literally, Jesus. Poor choice of words. You knock him down out of the primaries because he's got reefer madness. And we're fighting a bunch of these guys. We're fighting a whole bunch of these, and they tend to be rhinos, where they're, you know what I mean? It's like, they're not America first, okay? America first, we've got independence. That's me, my whole life. I started the Green Party here in Oregon in the 1990s. We ran Ralph Nader, 1996 and 2000. I'm a Green Party guy in my roots. I was like 18, 19, 20, and I started in politics with the Green Party. Now the Green Party's gotten co-opted. We got Marxists in there. We got identity politics, and we got a bunch of gay frogs in there running the Marxist show. So they lost me. And America First has got independence. They've got Democrats coming with Bobby Kennedy. This is a populist movement. This is not about just MAGA. This is not just about Nazis. This is about a populist American movement that you need to get active and involved with to change the scope of your local and state politics. This is not a peanut gallery type of operation. We need all of you to step up. Step up and do your portion. Cannabis needs to be legal. Number one. Let's stop locking up communities of color because they're smoking some cannabis. God made cannabis. Read Genesis 1. Read Genesis 1 and 2. God made all herbs. God made cannabis. This is the fruit that is for the Neanderthals' consumption, all the way back to the Neanderthals. Doesn't make you stupid. It doesn't make you march into BlackRock buildings and want to kill up NFL executives. Fuck you for saying that, Fox News. Fuck you for printing that, New York Times. That's not what it does. This is not some weaponized weed. Even Alex Jones start ranting about weaponized pot. And it's like, Jesus, dude. It'd be really good for him. With all of his methylene blue and all of his other supplements, some cannabis would be good for him. But he had some blue gorilla in California. He smoked it with Mike Tyson, and Alex Jones hallucinated and saw Keebler elves, and he's never been the same. And he blames it on the modern cannabis. Okay, well, when your tolerance is low and you're going to smoke some high-grade blue gorilla out of California, you might hallucinate if you're not used to it. So, that's what we're up against. That's why we got to get into it. Birds of a feather flock together. How many pedos on your speed dial? How do you hang with and invite at your weddings? What the fuck's wrong with you, Beverly Charles? What the fuck is wrong with you? We're not pedos here. Fuck you. You are a Neanderthal idiot. And that's all you guys have got. You're trying to grasp, trying to get Trump on the island. Trump didn't fly to the island. Trump likes beautiful porn stars with huge double D tits. Okay? Supermodels that are gorgeous, grown women. Trump doesn't like children. Trump's never liked children. 99% of what Epstein was doing had nothing to do with children. It was about honeypots with escorts, 18, 19, 20, 25-year-old beautiful women that would massage like prostitutes, like a brothel, like a bunny ranch in Las Vegas, not children. He was also a weapons dealer. He was working with the CIA and the Mossad, laundering cash taking care of wealthy people so he could control them around the world for a deep state agenda. It's way beyond just hurting children, Beverly. You're an idiot. You're a buffoon listening to CNN. You're completely programmed into thinking it's all just about pedos. And if you're somehow pro-Trump, you're a pedo. Fuck you, Beverly. Get the fuck out of here, ding dong. You're not wanted. You're an idiot. And there's no sense talking to you. Why the fuck are you trolling our chat? Why the fuck are you here? Get the fuck out of here. This guy is just like Taco. Oh, yeah. No, he was doing things with teenage girls. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Epstein did. Epstein was the greasy maggot. Epstein had a fetish for young teens with braces. It's now come out he liked little braces and had little teddy bears on his bed. Nobody knew that. Nobody knew that. Trump threw him out of Mar-a-Lago long before he was ever indicted. In fact, Trump helped with the indictment. Once he found out he was poaching is the term, he was stealing, which the family of the deceased took great issue with the word stealing because Trump said he was stealing my staff. The real word is less attractive. It's called poaching. Poaching is when you go in and you take other people's team members, you take other people's staff, and then he was corrupting them. When that happened, Trump drew a line. So I separate, and you should learn to separate, that parties in the 80s and 90s, the parties even with escorts and prostitutes, high-end escorts in New York, is totally different situation and scenario. That's legal consenting adults. Trump had nothing to do with that. Nothing. So as much as you watch all this programming that's trying to pin Trump to some sort of a cover-up, it's all bullshit. It's bullshit. You're an idiot for believing it, but you're so triggered at Trump. We got to make shit up. We got to make things up that he hurt children. And, oh, my God, you're protecting the pedos. No, we're not. We're the Republicans, the QAnon deep staters that were talking about going after the pedos. That started all of this hype. That started years ago. It started in the first term of Trump. They were like, we're hunting the child traffickers. And they're doing that now. Cash Patel just posted talking about 1,400 children have been rescued from Joe Biden's trafficking of these children with unaccompanied adults into Catholic charities, flown into the States. Biden is the child trafficker. Biden is the one that had showers with his daughters. Hunter made videos having sex with his niece. Unfortunately, I saw those videos. This family is disgusting. And you Democrats come in here and you're trying to frame Trump into doing something that he didn't do and that he's not, because that's all you got. The Latinos, the Puerto Ricans, the communities of color all voted for Trump in record numbers. They took the Democrats' base and they're panicking. That's why they fled. Why do you think that these Democrats have fled Texas? Because they lost. The communities of color that were voting Democrats have swung and voted for Trump and voting for MAGA. So they've had to leave the state and go hide in Illinois and hide in California and hide in New York because they got nothing else to do but stop and make up lies and try to escape their own legislative duties, which also includes flooding monies. Monies for Texas flooding. These Democrats are screwing the flood victims. Hundreds of people that were killed from the record floods, which that's a whole nother video. Those floods don't look natural to me. That looks like clear weather warfare. Who did it? I don't know. Could be Chicoms. It could be an overload of our own U.S. Air Force. I don't know. I'm not going to say that I know, but I do recognize that's not normal. That's not climate change. Flooding is not climate change. Climate change is long-term changes to the weather patterns. That record flood, 30 feet in an hour, is unheard of. That's nothing to do with climate. That's geoengineering. That's called weather modification. Google that because that's a real thing. Katie Johnson, I'm not sure who Katie Johnson is. Was that a victim? There's all kinds of victims. I'm not minimizing the victims. Epstein harmed thousands of people. Jizzy Maxwell, whose father was Mossad and died mysteriously off his yacht, just like her little lover, Jeffrey Epstein, died mysteriously in a jail cell. Like I said, I think he's actually still alive. She's doing prison time for what they did. Trump had nothing to do with that. That was mostly Democrats. That was Clinton. That was Biden. That was Hunter. That was Hunter Biden and all these dipshits that were trafficking from Ukraine. The Moscow mayor, the widowed Moscow mayor, sent tens of millions of dollars to Hunter Biden. Why did she do that? Because of the human trafficking. Hunter was involved in Slavic prostitution rings. It's all documented. This is all going to come out for you. Pay attention. Turn off CNN. Turn off MSNBC if you want the truth. Start listening to some independent media. John Mullen, God bless you. Trump is the best president in my lifetime. 11 phone numbers and Melania's email. You know, are you talking about the Black Book? Very strange. Very strange. What was also strange with the 2004 Epstein Black Book is Trump's ex-wife, Ivana, number was in there. What's he doing with Trump's ex-wife, Ivanka? What the fuck is Ivanka's phone number and contact in that Black Book, in Epstein's little Black Book? What is he doing with them? They're doing something behind Trump's back? Is that some sort of professional connections? That's what got me thinking, where did Ivanka meet Jared, who's Mossad, who Bibi Netanyahu from Israel used to come over and sleep in Jared's room. He would get Jared's room. Jared wasn't sleeping with him, at least I don't think he was. But Jared would give up his little, the guy came from a very wealthy family. Bibi would come and stay with the family and would get Jared's room. You didn't know that? I did. I got real issues with Jared. I got real questions with Jared. That doesn't mean that Trump was involved in anything to do with harming children. In fact, you're not hearing on MSNBC, you're not hearing on CNN what they're doing of breaking up these cartel human trafficking rings because you're not listening and they're not telling you the truth. Kash Patel just did a post on X talking about the thousands of human trafficking that he's disrupted just in 200 days. That's a part of the good. Then there's the bad. And then there's the ugly. The ugly is coming out and saying that the Epstein was a nothing burger. After telling everyone on the campaign trail, after telling America first, after telling all the MAGA that we're going to come for it and we're going to find out what's going on, what the hell are you doing now saying it's a nothing burger and there's no list? There may not be lists, but don't minimize it. What the fuck are you guys doing? It's how they handled that situation, which is very bizarre. My feeling is, and I know that this is where James Carville got in trouble, is that Melania may know Jizzy and Epstein better than he wants to talk about. And I also know that Lutnick, 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 which is, he's some sort of bag man, some sort of money guy. He had bought a condo in New York right next to Epstein. This was long before Trump, but he's with Trump now. So if he's got a money man that says, well, I'm in this file and, and by the way, Melania's phone numbers are in the Black Book. And, this could, whatever they psyched him out and did, something scared him. He went from being aggressive and bullish and exposing it to all of a sudden he had AG Pam Bondi saying, oh, it's on my desk. And then the desk disappears. Poof. Gone. Bondi's like, oh, no, there's nothing there. Why would they set up AG Pam Bondi? Why would they set her up like that? That's obviously going to smear her and discredit her. It's Nutlick. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Now listen, I can still support Trump. I can still be American first and be an independent, and I can still call out fucking Nutlick. Fuck Nutlick. Wait, who the fuck is this guy? He's a big bag man. he also has other weird connections to 9/11, right? And you'll see that Trump said, yeah, it was an inside job. You'll see him on video. And then you'll see Trump pivot sharp years later. I'm going way back, all the way back into, 25 years ago. Well, that's right around when it happened. I'm talking about the couple of years afterward. I'm going way back with Trump in New York City, when he was still a Democrat in New York City running with the Democrats. He did pivots on 9/11. He talked about it. He said the truth, and then he pivots. You go, oh, he wants to play stupid. This is kind of what Donnie does, is he'll speak the truth, and then he pivots. And it's either now it's been classified or it's top secret. So what? There's no excuses for it. It needs to be douched out. Douche it all out. And they've now done, I think Roger Stone went in there. Oliver, have you seen the latest Project Veritas story on former? Yes, that is outstanding. What's her name? She's got this really little girly cursive handwriting that's very difficult to read. AJ read that. InfoWars has done that, and Owen Schroyer did a big piece on it too, where playing the video. I love that. But the writing is so difficult to read. All the guys are like, can somebody decipher? It's like she's writing in encrypted cursive code. But you can hear her own testament. You don't have to read what she wrote in her little. It's the secretary I'm talking about. I forget her name. Yeah. A.G. Barr. Lo and behold, who's Attorney General Barr? Who's Barr? Who's Barr's dad? Who's Donald Barr? Bill Barr. Barr's dad, Donald Barr. Who's he? How does he know Epstein? He gave him his first job at Harvard, if I'm not misspeaking. He knew Epstein, right? These fuckers knew Epstein. Barr, the cleanup man, who cleaned up 911 inside job, which is more than likely Mossad and CIA, if you ask me. I know nobody asked me, but if you asked me, it was an inside job. It wasn't some radical fucking Islamist. Why won't they release the files? That's what I'm kind of trying. This is part of the ugly. This one was titled The Good, the Bad, this ugly. This whole Epstein file bungling is ugly, and it's unnecessary. If he's going to lose nut lick, if he's going to lose that guy, so be it. So be it. You're going to lose him. There's going to be a bunch of staffers that are going to need to be fired or fucking driven out the front door, right? Or resign, pressured to resign. Fuck them. Laura Loomer does a great job of rooting out these. There's all kinds of molds and rats. We saw it with the first administration. Motherfucking A.G. Barr was in the first administration. This motherfucker cock-blocked the Russiagate. I mean, the fuck? Trump walks into these bear traps, into these snare traps. I don't think he's a bad guy. I know he's not a Nazi. Point blank, that's stupid fucking shit. He's not a pedo. I recognize a guy that loves voluptuous, beautiful, stunning, sensuous women. Look at all of his ex-wives. Look at Marla Maples. There's a theme there, okay? That's not pedo shit. Why won't they release the files? It's got to be either blackmail. Are they using it as blackmail for votes? Are they using it blackmail somebody? Or people flip on it and say, Israel's got something on Trump. Or some stuff on Trump's administration, which is basically the same. If you're going to have shit on Trump's secretaries, like Balllick, Nutlick, Lutnick, which he's clearly fucking compromised. That son of a bitch, I don't know why you'd hang on to him. I don't know why you'd bring him in. It's like bringing in Bill Barr. It's like, the fuck you doing? Mike Pompeo? What kind of fucking head injury did he have to bring in Mike Pompeo in the first administration? The CIA fucking Mike Pompeo? Do you notice that son of a bitch lurking around in Ukraine? There's Pompeo. He's lost like 400 pounds. His like cheeks are sucked in like he's been smoking crack cocaine since, last 5, 10, 15 months. There's Pompeo, like this ghost of the past. He's not with the administration. What the fuck are you doing, dude? You're violating The Logan's Act. You're interfering with the fucking administration, and you're over here dicking around selling weapons to Ukraine when Donnie isn't selling weapons to Ukraine. There's Pompeo. Fucking indict that son of a bitch. Ken Rod, you nailed it. Funny how Barr was the same AG both times Epi was let off. 2 different administrations. Almost like he came black to clean up something he missed. Fucking nailed it, Ken Rod. Nailed it. Bondi's complicit. You might be right. I'm a sucker for blondes. I love intellectual blondes. I love beautiful women. And I was a big cheerleader for Bondi. But if something's not right with her, she's got to go too. I'd hate to see her go. I don't care. My heart will get over that loss. My achy, breaky heart will get over that loss. If she's complicit in, I think she was set up. I think they told her, just get out there in front of it. This is all here. It's coming out. And then somewhere around the line, somebody spooked him. Probably Ben Netanyahu. Probably Bibi. How could it not be Israel? Fucking Israel First is running this entire fucking administration right now. What the fuck happened? Where's America First? Israel First is not America First. That's America Last. That's Mossad First. That shit's got to change. If it doesn't change, he's going to lose his legacy. But what Trump's good at, and whether it's head injuries or old age, he's good at pivoting. Last week he said he wasn't going to talk to Putin, didn't want to talk to Putin, he's ready to nuke him. This week, they're meeting in Alaska, and I kept having visuals of Alaska. Something big's going to happen in Alaska. I even been saying that. I thought it was seismic. I thought it was going to be another, we have another tsunami along the West Coast. We've had that over the last 50 years. We've had a couple 9-pointers come out of Alaska, and we have tsunamis on the West Coast. I thought that's what it was going to do. It still might. And there's a couple volcanoes that all the professionals, I'm not a professional. I'm not a volcanist professional. There's a lot of professionals that are saying the volcanoes are going to pop up there too. And they're ready to go. I mean, there's like earthquakes underneath them, and it's like Alaska's ready to fucking pop. It's going to crank. But now we have this political tsunami. Now we have this huge, massive, seismic political shift in Alaska, of all places. The place that we bought from the Soviets, Russia, in the old days, it might even have been, was that pre-Soviet? Was that pre-USSR? We bought it for $7 million. And here we are at a table. You better believe and watch out for the false flags. They're going to fucking hit us hard. We're going to have the same crazy shit that they did with the drones bombing nuclear hangars. I mean, remember the last time we were talking about peace? Look at Iran. Look what Bibi did and forced Israel first and America last when we were talking about peace deals with Iran. All of a sudden, we're blowing the fucking shit out of Iran. They're assassinating 30 of the top generals. That's what these fuckers do. This is what we're up against. Trump's up against this too. I don't believe Trump is complicit with that. I think he's walking into like a bungling gooball. He's a leader, but he comes bungling in there, and these people around him sabotage him and kind of like a pinball, bumping him around. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe he's more in line. Some of you I can obviously read. Some of you, oh, there's Beverly. Go stand with the Nazis, Beverly. You're a fucking dipshit. Jay Mullen, why didn't Biden release the Epstein files? Thank you, Jay. Or Ja. Ja Mullen's even a beautiful name, but it might be Jay. Why didn't Biden? Clinton's in there. Clinton wrote on that Lolita Express more than any president, anywhere, at any time. Now, was he with teens? I don't know. Was he with escorts? Oh, fuck yeah. Are you kidding? You know who else was around Clinton underneath that desk? Monica Lewinsky. You know where Monica Lewinsky comes from? Portland, Oregon. Monica Lewinsky, Mossad operative. We now know she's Mossad Israeli operative. And we now know that Bibi, Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi, blackmailed Clinton with Monica. Can't make it up. We knew it, but now it's been verified. We knew that. She went to Lewis and Clark up on the law school. So real interesting, very interesting woman. That's a whole nother video on her. He's not a pedo. Funniest thing you said all night. Well, J Money, listen, a pedo is it's a predator of children, okay? And they lump in teens with the pedos under that umbrella. It's not actually the same thing, but I'm going even beyond that. I'm saying that Trump wasn't harming teens, period. And he certainly wouldn't need Epstein to do that, because Epstein was taking his staff and doing bad things to them on the island as he bribed them. That's where the rest in peace, the young lady, they say killed herself. Didn't look like she killed herself to me. Did she look suicidal? Maybe, but I don't think so. Looked like she dealt with a lot of trauma and she was a survivor to me. I've drawn a fucking blank on her name. Was it Veronica? And Barr's dad wrote an insane science fi book. Donald Barr, what is it? It's something about sex with children on Mars or something. What is it? Cognitive dissonance? It's insane. It's like, you can't make this up. Who are these fucking people? What is this bloodline? We're dealing with like lizard people bloodlines here with this fucking Barr family and beyond. It's a lizard people beyond. I'm starting to sound like, what's his name? Who's like slipped into the shadows? Who is the lizard king? My mind's racing. It's 2.5 hours. I'm getting tired. I forget his name. It's a very common name. Gawker in 2015, Nick Bryant published the list already. Well, there's a 2004 black book that was published, more recent. That, so that was way past 2015. That's where, and I've reviewed that. I have that. It's on a website, actually. It's not like it's top secret hacker stuff anymore, although it was at one point. It was leaked on a back page at one point, but and that's where I was seeing this Ivana's name, and I was like, what is he doing behind Trump's back? And then Ivanka was like trying to get into modeling or something, and I was like, I don't want to, he didn't know. I don't even want to try to rationalize it. I'm just disturbed that his daughter's name was in this black book. He didn't know what's in the black book. This isn't Donnie's black book. This is Dumb Nuts and Dipshit and Jizzy Lane. Little Jizzy. This is their black book. What is their names doing in that? What's the fucking connection? Did she meet Jared? Where'd Jared come from? Came from Bibi, came from Assad, came from Israel. I don't want to get hostile letters from the legal team that, like James Carville, got hostile letters. So, God bless Donald Trump. God bless you, Maddie. Gawker Magazine. I think you're going back on an old one. If it was 2015, man, that's way. What did you say? You said you said 2015. Okay, sorry, because I'm saying it was 2004 black. Okay, sorry, I got you, Kenrod. You're right on it, brother. You're right on it, and you know what you're talking about. Have you seen QAnon's latest drop? No, man. QAnon. That talk about Mossad intel. It's fucking QAnon. Come on. Yeah, Susie Wiles. I don't like Susie Wiles, Red. I don't like Susie Wiles at all. I think she's actually cock blocking. She's the gatekeeper in this shit. She's Mossad. Susie Wiles worked on Benjamin Netanyahu's re-election campaign. You don't get any closer to that than Israeli Mossad, right? Am I wrong, Red? She's signed. There is no QAnon. It's QAnons. Oh, God. Well, I'm not trying to step on your toes, but trust the plan, Red. Trust the plan. Space relations, a slightly gothic and interplanetary tale. Yes, thank you. It's called, so the book, this is Donald Barr. This is Bill Barr. This is the home that he grew up in. And he's been a fucking CIA gatekeeper ever since his father was. It's called Space Relations. What's space relations about? Well, This is Cognitive Dissidence telling us, a slightly gothic interplanetary tale still tells the story of John Craig, a young space diplomat captured by interplanetary pirates. Well, of course, we got to have fucking interplanetary pirates, and sold into slavery on the planet Kosar. Kosar's rulers, driven to madness by boredom and absolute power, operate a unique system of slavery. Notice he wasn't responding to any of my comments. Rhett, the whole QAnon thing is bogus. I'm just going to treat you just like the other little cupcake that was standing with Ukraine Nazis and all the rest of these people that are fighting for the boosters and telling me I'm rewriting history. I'm going to glaze over you. As soon as I hear QAnon, buddy, it's a big fucking joke. You're being scammed, man. That is a full-blown Mossad think operation. It's all bullshit. Okay, so the chief deputy of the DOJ goes to visit a certain prisoner about a certain matter involving a certain individual. Then she gets moved to a luxury prison after questions about Trump. Okay, so yeah, what the fuck is up with that? Why did little Jizzy get moved? Was she promised something? She's obviously looking for, the greatest fucking political mistake Donnie could do is fucking pardon that sick fucking child pedo ass. Fuck her. What a stupid motherfucker if he's going. I don't think he will, but he could. And people are saying that they are because they want her to come clean. And she's a psychopath fucking. She's lied through the entire trials. Why is she going to come clean now? Space Relations is the story of Effie Island. Yes. So there's children, right? There's children sex slaves in this fucking science fi book that Bill Barr, Attorney General Bill Barr, the cock blocker of 9/11 and Epstein, father wrote. Just out of the blue, out of all the fucking children novels you want to write about, an interplanetary about slaves and children working as sex slaves. Oh, okay. It kind of sounds like Epstein Island might have been the book first. Huh? Yeah. Long before Donnie doing cocaine parties and fancy exotic fucking escorts. Throwing women. Craig finds himself auctioned off to a Lady Morgan Sidney, a beautiful and sensual woman who becomes his mistress. He eventually moves from the slave mines to her bed in the tower of her castle. That's quite a bump, you're going up from the slave mines to now you're in the special lady's bed. How many times did the DOJ interview Jizzy Lane? Zero? I think they recently did. Didn't somebody go down there and it's like, what did she say? So now they're saying release this interview, release this current investigation. And I say, fuck yes. If it jeopardizes whatever kind of deal, so what? Stop gaslighting the base. You're losing voters. We're bleeding the base. We're bleeding American First voters if you guys continue to fuck around with the truth in the info release on this Epstein Island file. Stop. Full stop. She played ball and she got awarded, period. So people with common sense aren't supposed to think that. This is also fucking strange, man. Jason Washburn, you're absolutely spot on. It's very strange. And it's weird fucking things going on. It doesn't look good when at all. It looks real bad. It looks real ugly with the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is real ugly. Donnie openly admits he knows her. He's met her several times. They both lived in fucking Palm Beach. You can't deny this. They never denied it. Then be up and up about it. Be clear. Define it. And sure the fuck don't give her any special privileges. Sure the fuck don't transfer her into Texas minimum security. Sure the fuck do not pardon her. Period. Full stop. Do not pardon Jizzy Lane. There he uncovers a secret beneath the castle that could lead to the demise of humanity in the galaxy. Craig escapes, returns to Kosar as an ambassador, and attempts to end the practice of slavery. Wow. Thank you for posting that. Thanks for looking that up, Ed. I appreciate that. We got to bounce off of here. We got to wrap this up, guys. This has been a great crew. I appreciate everybody coming down. Hit the like. I see 35 likes. That's awesome. That really does help. Hit the subscribe. I don't do a lot. I do some shorts, not very many. It's kind of like it's me. It's Oliver, the Aqua Blue Lounge. And I do lives maybe like once on a Friday night or a Saturday night, once a week. Saturday. Yeah, it has been kind of Saturdays. I kind of like Saturday nights for these live streams. There are Soviet bases all over Alaska. Yes, Andrew. Spot on. There's fucking underground, they're DUMBs, the deep underground military bases. And then they've got the old Soviet Russian bases underneath in Alaska. Are they still using those? I would assume they probably would be using them. How could they not? After lying about the little she did say, space relations has gained renewed attention due to the office connection to Jeffrey Epstein, whom Barr employed at the Dalton School where he served as headmaster. Thank you. So I was correct about that. I think that Dalton is connected to Harvard, or am I fucking that up? The novel's themes of sex slavery, particularly involving teenagers, have drawn comparison to Epstein's alleged activities. You can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. You got A.G. Barr, double, triple, quadruple crossed Donnie multiple times since this last term. And his dad is the frameworker, the author of this CIA plan that plays out exactly like Epstein fucking sex cult island. You can't make it up. Too much love here. Got to get back to reality. All right, Jason. Mutual assures destruction. Monica is Mossad. Kenrod, it's true. It's true. I mean, I figured that I was kind of suspicious, but it's actually been confirmed now. She was, Israel knew it. Well, all right, maybe I should backpedal on that. I don't know if she was employed as Mossad or manipulated and used, but Israel, what the intel that came out recently is they had a microphone in the Oval Office and all of that was recorded, at least on audio. So it's possible she wasn't employed as Mossad, but an operative. Did she know she was an operative? I kind of feel like she was, my gut intuition, but I got to be careful when I say she was certainly Mossad. I don't think that that's 100% confirmed. She was used and manipulated, might have been a Mossad operative. Doesn't mean she was from Israel and employed. She did come from Lewis and Clark. She did come from Portland. I've never met her that I'm aware of, so. Katie Johnson, dude, 13 years old and named Donald personally. Oh, the Katie Johnson story. So that, that one's popped up a few times. People keep bringing it up. Let's investigate it more. Is she alive? Did she Epstein herself? Is she suicidal and gone? Katie Johnson never showed up at court after initial filing. That's a tough one because I don't want to immediately discredit her, but there was so many of this. Do you believe this E. Jean lady that he somehow grabbed her butt through the panties in a changing room in New York? She can't even remember what she was wearing. I mean, do you believe her? I mean, I don't believe her, but then that makes me the bad guy, right? Because I'm discrediting an alleged victim, and Me Too says I'm a bad guy. Me Too says, the whole hashtag Me Too says you got to believe all these fabricated stories. It's a very slippery slope. I don't want to discredit any victims. I've worked with abuse victims for years with at-risk youth. Salvation Army Greenhouse, Janus Youth Programs. It was 25 years ago. It severely traumatized me, and I went into heavy drinking for 10 or 15 years. And I honestly, I think drinking heavily had something to do with the emotional scarring of hearing these youth on the street being pimped out to Gus Van Sant and all these different people coming and picking up clients of mine from our drop-in center, right? I hate to drop his name like that, but he was one of the names that the kids talked about. Anyway, we got to wrap this out. I'm exhausted. I usually only like to do a little shorter, but Saturday. As long as you guys are here chatting, that's fine. His dad was OSS. Yes, that's the Nazis. He hates Q because Q outed the AJ Mossad network. Oh, listen. You're listening to Q that said trust Sessions. Do you know who Sessions is? You're listening to Q boards that said trust Kansas, trust Pompeo. Pompeo was Kansas. I read those boards. I followed them because I wanted to know what opposition was doing. You're listening to Q, which is a Mossad operation. They're smearing AJ and InfoWars because he speaks the truth and he can't be bought. So you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm a truther, and I followed Q boards. All right, I followed them. I used to follow them in the early years because I was like, "What the fuck's this?" So I seen the whole thing as it transgressed. I saw that it was Mossad instigating war with Iran. Look what they're doing right now with Iraq. Case in point. All right, Kenrod, there's a video of her in the court doc. She never showed because she was 13 and then 16. That's disturbing. I would be in favor of more investigation of that. I don't know how we prove that. It probably puts her life in jeopardy. I don't know if it's true. I find it very difficult to believe that somebody that can have beautiful, gorgeous escorts from all legal age and walks of life with snap of the finger is somehow going to get wrapped up in children. I just don't believe that with Dawn. I'm sorry. Not sorry, because that's my intuition and that's my belief. He doesn't like them young. He likes them voluptuous, and he likes them boom, and he likes them porn star-ish, to be quite frank. I believe a child on video in the deposition. If that was there, Kenrod, I would take a look at it. Ritual abuse, I will never minimize ritual abuse. It's not a sex thing. Children are sacrificed. I know that for a fact. I've actually am aware of that in Portland. I've fought those fuckers. We have Satanists here in Portland that do bad things to the children. And I've outed them, and I've had them try to come kill me. Okay? So, I'm not an idiot. I've been in Portland, Oregon my whole life. We got some dark fucking players, and we have some dark sex human trafficking rings where Major Terry Bean, a huge bundler, money bundler of Obama, Terry Bean, I had his name pop up several times from youth. He likes teen boys and was Obama's #1 bundler that brought in millions of dollars from Oregon. Google his name, Terry Bean. They hit him on one or two. They couldn't crack him on the bigger pedo ring, teen ring. And I know some of the other teens, they were scared. Some of them are dead. They probably got suicided, like Epstein, if Epstein's really dead. I kind of think that he's alive. You notice the 88 theme with Donald Trump. 88. Well, we're coming out of Lionsgate, which is 88 right now, right? That's Lionsgate. Massive triangulation with Mars. We have a massive interplanetary with the full moon right now in Aquarius. If there's going to be any huge major earthquakes, it's going to happen tonight, tomorrow, the next day, maybe a few more, but I actually think it's going to be a little closer to the peak of the full moon. We're in prime tsunami territory. I'm not just saying that because we just had a couple of them, but I actually see that coming on. With the 8-8 theme and Donald Trump, I'm not familiar. I will look that up. That's connected to the ritual abuse? I think that's what you're threading. Well, God bless you guys. I appreciate it. There's still 49 of you here. God bless you. We'll try to do it again next Saturday. I kind of like Saturdays, but sometimes Friday nights feel better. I just kind of go with how I'm feeling, if I'm up for it, and what the schedule's like. But it'd be great to see you guys all try to think of some ideas of. I like to do current events, and I like to do politics, but we could talk about something else. Let's talk about current events. All right, man. God bless. Peace out. Be safe. Don't let them get into your head. Love y'all.